Welcome everyone to Livestream Reviews. My name is Christian Kirasevich. I'm the content marketing manager at StreamYard, and we're so excited to have you join us for yet another episode where we get to review your live streams. We get to hear what challenges you're facing, ways that we can help you. So I'm going to go and bring on Leticia Campbell, my co-host here, and we're going to kick things off. So Leticia, it's great seeing you.
Hi guys. Hey Christian. Hey everybody. How's everybody doing out there?
So yeah, definitely let us know in the comments where you're tuning in from. What are some of your live stream challenges? I know we like to kick every show off with a question for you.
Right,
So, not just where are you tuning in from? We love hearing that. Where's everybody tuning in from, by the way? So feel free to put that in the comments. But Leticia, you have a question for our viewers, right?
My question for you guys is, are you thinking of having a guest on your show? Are you searching for guests to be on your show at this time? Or are there some of you in the crowd who are finding it difficult to either find guests and also manage guests? So we're going to be talking about that on today's show. And we love you guys to come on the panel and discuss some of your ways you get guests on your shows, or if you need help getting guests on your show, join us in the panel. We'll help you out.
That's a great question, by the way. Yeah. And, I had a great conversation actually over the weekend after the show. I think we had a guest come on. It was her show is about Kermit and Friends. And, we spent quite a bit of time actually talking about how you can go about finding guests or how to go about building out your schedule of guests. I will say this, the best thing you can do when live streaming is to build consistency into your process. Right. To be filling, not just fill your funnel with prospects, but if you're going to have a guest on, make sure you are spending enough time trying to get enough guests in your pipeline.
Right.
For example, I like to book 2 guests at a time. So, I'm not just thinking like, okay, I'm thinking if I get 2 people that join, one will pick one day, one will pick another. That takes a lot of the pressure off me to have to always find guests.
Absolutely.
And then when I'm finished with a guest, if I think that, if I think they're a good guest, for example, I will actually invite them again and say, you know what, like, loved having you on the show. Would love it if you want to come back, let us know. And then what I have them do is I book, I don't have them book like a month or 2 later. Maybe sometimes it's like 3-6 months down the road, but I have a way for them to do that. So then this way I'm actually starting to build out my calendar for the entire year.
Right.
So do we have any good comments coming in from viewers, by the way?
We have some really good comments coming in. Many of you guys are saying that you do struggle with getting guests and what have you. My journey with live streaming, as you guys know, started out with Google Hangout. I've never had guests on early years. Once I did Google Hangout, then we did Periscope, which was really no option for you to have a guest. So once, Facebook came around, StreamYard came around, and really, and even with there was other platforms that allowed you to have that guest option as well. I remember having tons of people on screen with me. I remember doing weekly summits every Friday, and it got into where now we had to really plan this out, because it's more than just saying, hey guys, let's just meet on Friday at 9 p.m. and talk about this topic or what have you. It's like I had to think about the flow. I had to really say, well, maybe I had to really evaluate the people that I were having on my show. And I was like, well, is this person the right fit? Do they really speak to my overall goal? There was one time I was having the same people on that does the same exact thing. So there really wasn't any individuality. And then, a lot of times, I know we had a guest on one of the shows, on one of these shows that said, managing the guests to stop getting them to talk over each other and things like that. And I know that even though StreamYard makes this such an easy opportunity for us to get people on our shows, but it's like sometimes we think that when we have a show, we think that people are just going to run to us and want to be on the show. And there's a lot of preparing you have to do before, during, and after your show when you have guests involved.
Definitely. Yeah. I'm seeing some really great comments from everyone who's tuning in. I do want to talk to some of you all actually, I want to talk to all of you, but I want to talk to you all, the people who are talking about, for example, I think Adam was saying, let me find his comment. Actually, he's talking about having guests on. He said that it sometimes is he said it's a challenge, and then he moves into Q&A actually. So Leticia, if you happen to see that one, can you bring that one up actually real quick?
It's from Adam.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah, so it's exhausting and frustrating for me booking guests. So I want to actually know what's so difficult about finding a guest. Is it that you don't know where to go find them? Is it that your guests will constantly back out after you've scheduled them. Like what is that challenge that you run into? Would love to either have you come on and join us and talk about that, or just let us know in the comments. Either one of those is totally fine.
Right. I think a lot of that too is sometimes certain guests won't come on your show because maybe, I'm not just talking about Adam exploits, I'm just saying in general that if a guest is confused or potential guest is confused on what your message is and what you're talking about, and they feel that if they do come on your show, they won't be able to really contribute because they don't really have an idea of what you do. Like there's certain shows I would never go on. I don't like to go on. I was talking to this with Christian the other day. I sometimes I get asked to get on shows, but it's like a gossip channel, or is it like a just in news channel about housewives or any other topic, and that's not my niche. That's not like an industry that I don't even pay attention to those things. So
Yeah.
I feel like when certain people, when they ask me, yeah, Leticia, I would love for you to be on my show, and then I'll look at what they do. I do say no a lot. I actually say no every day to people because I want to be able to deliver. And if you're talking about a particular topic or message that I feel that I don't even pay attention to, I won't give you any value because that's not an industry that I tap into. So that's another thing, is like us really getting clear on what is our show about, what's the message, what's the opportunity for the guests, and also what work the guest has to do for the show as well.
Yeah. And so, by the way, if you do want to join us, do us a favor. So you want to join us, do us a favor, and Leticia, I think, dropped the link to come on screen with us. Jan, Elisa Jordana was saying, can she have her camera turned off? Yeah, that's fine. Just let us see you, and then like let us see you backstage, and then we can just do that. That's totally fine. So
let me tell you, when I first came on this show, I was a hot mess. So trust, you didn't look. I'm pretty sure you don't look worse than how I looked. Yeah, we got some great comments. We would love for you guys to get on panel. Y'all are blowing up the chat, which we love.
And so while we're waiting for people to come on backstage with us, I want to actually read. I want to go through Adam's comment here. Actually, Adam's saying, finding guests that are in my niche.
Yes,
a lot of times, larger channels look down on smaller channels. I network a lot, spend the time in live streams, so people in the chat know who I am. Okay, so I would say this. Here, I'll tell you what my process is. My process is I keep a spreadsheet, and I have two worksheets basically in my spreadsheet. So one is literally every single show, who the guest is, what the time of the show is, the date, all that kind of stuff. That's literally in a spreadsheet. The other thing I keep a second worksheet, and that is literally every single person I ever want to have on. And so, what I basically have done is I've built out my whole calendar year. And so then I basically I go fishing. It's essentially a fishing expedition. I go out and I invite a lot of people, and sometimes those people will immediately book. Sometimes there's people where like I'll catch them on Messenger, for example, on Facebook, and they'll say, like I want to be a guest. But then what will happen is they won't always book immediately. And so I know that I've at least put it out there. So then I can go back to them like a few days later. Hey, did you have a chance to book? Things like that. Now, how do I handle that booking process? I use quite a few. I use a calendar tool. So I don't do email, and I prefer not to do email and Messenger and things like that for just, let's just say I want to have Adam on my show. I don't just send Adam a message and say like, hey, Adam, you want to be on my show? And then we have chit chat about what date we're going to have you on.
Right.
I have a calendar program I use. So you can use Calendly, Harmonizely. There's quite a few other ones. Basically what they are is it's a way to create a custom calendar you send somebody. So basically I have a calendar set up for my show, and I have a certain amount of time blocked, and then I send that out to people. And then once those people get that, they basically then pick from the dates that I have specified. There's no back and forth. It's those dates on that day that I set up for that event. And then what's also there is I don't have to, for example, ask Adam for, let's say I have to ask him for a headshot or questions or things like that. That's actually part of him signing up. So when he signs up, he goes through he picks the date, he picks the time. There's no back and forth. Then it asks him the questions that I want to know. Things like, for example, if we ask our guest a question, we want to know what they want, like what's their wheelhouse, for example. And then we have a question where we're like, you know what? We also need a headshot to use on our thumbnail and things like that. And I literally just put that in Canva, for example. I use Canva for designing parts, for removing the background from the person. And then I bring it into my design program. And I now have my thumbnail made up very quickly. So
right.
benefit there is streamlines it.
Right, absolutely. And now you create a whole system for your process. So if you were able to hire a VA Christian to take that over, they already have a process that you already went through step by step that you can hand over. Now, another thing I want to say, hey, Jill, about Adam is when you're dealing with bigger channels per se, I will always like position it as an interview. You know what I'm saying? So that way, that will be more of an enticement for that person to say, well, oh, great, this channel's interviewing me. I would love to be a part of it. So coming up, research that person first, because a lot of times you want the person knows, like, you know, you don't know nothing about what I do. So it's good for you to to research what they do. So that way, you know which interview questions to ask them. So I have done that. And that's great because when you create a flyer for it, like Christian says, he creates a flyer for his show. And I do it for mine as well. They post that flyer. Now you're getting more leads from their audience as well. So, set it up in like an interview type of thing more than just like a particular topic of the show, if that makes sense.
Yes. And, there's some good questions here. I mean, Pale Dieters here saying LinkedIn's been great in finding professionals in my niche, law enforcement officers, lawyers, judges, victims, advocates, etc. Yeah. So you are going to have to, so here's the thing, you are going to have to go out and you are going to have to try to find some of those people. Now, here's one thing I would actually recommend doing. So go on, like, how you go to Google and you find like a listicle, basically. It's like 25 best whatever, right? So for example, let's say it was Pale here who was asking about, like law enforcement officers, for example, lawyers, judges, victims, advocates. Maybe you want to actually go to Google and see if there's any listicles that have a bunch of people named and then look through their bio and then see if, hey, maybe there's 25, maybe 5 of those would be worth reaching out to, and then do the outreach. I'd start with some of the low hanging fruit, some of the people you can get on, and then, ask. So like, for example, let's say I had Leticia on my show. Let's say she was like on one of my shows and I said, hey, you know what? Like after the show, I always ask my guests as well, can you recommend other people, or do you have other people that we should have on our show?
Right.
So then I also leverage my network to help me bring in other people, or people I don't know, but maybe they have the connection to.
Right.
So,
and it will grow as more consistent that you become. And that's another thing. If you're not consistent at doing your own show and you expect guests to come on, it's not going to happen. So you got to really be consistent at your show the way it is right now, before you can even think of, having people come on. Yeah. Because they have to say, what is it worth it for me?
Yeah. So, okay, we've got John here backstage. By the way, if you do want to come on screen and join us and ask a question, we would love to have you on. So, do us a favor and, just join the backstage link. I do have just a couple of questions real quick for you. So, if you have a question, do us a favor, put hashtag ask in your comment. That's going to help us basically quickly identify that. And then if you have a feature request for StreamYard, I do see a few of them in here. Put in hashtag feature, and then I'm over here actually taking notes while we're doing this. So if you do have a feature request, always love hearing them. So just put those in there as well. So with that, let's bring on John and Leticia.
Let's do that. Hey, John, how are you?
Hey guys, how are you?
Great. What are you doing? What's your question?
So I have a channel on YouTube, Stack the Pads Goaltending. It mainly focuses around my stepson and his transition from a defenseman to a goaltender in ice hockey.
Okay.
And I'm up in Ontario, and with all the COVID shutdowns, we've been out of the rink since last year. So to kind of keep generating content, I started like an NHL playoffs kind of a live stream that I've been doing with a buddy of mine, Steve, in Montreal. Now we're 2 people in 2 different locations, and I've been using StreamYard to do a couple of lives, and it's actually been really good. But it's just kind of getting used to this new platform, and like being able to kind of deliver a better product for the viewer, like where it's not just, you know, two guys in a small little box and me showing like a PowerPoint presentation with like no intro, no music and that kind of stuff. So I'm just trying to learn like the backgrounds of like being able to have an intro pop up and having background music and having like an intro theme or something like that, and then just being able to get like a little bit more concise in putting up the little up menus, and you know, being able to put people's IG's address, different contact details, all their other social media. It's just kind of that.
What was the last part you were cutting out there?
Oh, sorry. Yeah, I'm also, and another thing too is like I'm in the country, so my internet isn't exactly the greatest.
Okay.
Waiting for Elon Musk there with a Starlink to get better internet. But it's basically kind of getting like a better overall product for the viewer.
Okay, so let's take like a couple of those different areas. So you asked about doing like intro videos, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so intro videos. One thing I would say is you can go to tools like Canva. You can also, there are designers that will also make those for you. You can basically drop those in StreamYard. They go in there's two ways. So if you've got something that's like short, like a countdown timer, you could put that under the video clips section, which is under brands. So it's brands and then video clips. Do you need me to show you that, or do you know how?
Yeah, sure. If you wouldn't mind.
Yeah, sure. So let me go ahead and do that, and then Leticia, feel free to chime in while I'm doing this.
Tell me again how long you've been doing the show.
So I only really recently started it. I want to say maybe. The first show I want to say was around the May 11th at the very start of the NHL ice hockey playoffs, and we had a gathering of a few guys, and we all picked our bracket. So that was the first show, and that one went pretty good. We had a few people, and now we're doing like a daily kind of a thing.
So it May of this month, you would say that's when you started to be consistent, right?
Pretty much, yeah. And then
you're still very early. If I were you, I would focus on the infrastructure first. I would first focus on content and creating that hardcore consistency for the next 30 days before you start to think about all the other things like intros, overlays, and things like that. Because you can get intros, you can get overlays, you can get all the nice techie stuff that all the top streamers or longtime streamers are doing. But if your content is not great, if y'all don't sit down and have meetings, like Christian and I have a show that we do together outside of this show, and it's still new. We started it back in March. So we have once a week, sometimes even twice a week, we have meetings about the show, the topic, the layout, everything. So before we get to that next step of our infrastructure, it's like building a building a building. It's like, I live in New York City, so high-rise building. What they start with the foundation, then they go up from there. So that needs to be the goal first. Whoever you're doing this show with, y'all need to have planning meetings every week. Y'all need to talk about what worked, what didn't work. Look at your viewership, boost up your promoting the show. So what are you guys are doing outside the show to bring people in the show consistently to get people inside? I know that's not the typical answer, but you know, that's the answer that you need to, that's the thing. These are the things you need to do in order to make that show successful. So as you start building crowds into the show, then you do the intro, then you do the whole overlays and all that stuff. I mean, even making something simple in Canva right now, just so you guys have something, is fine. But you know, that you got to build the foundation first.
Okay. So establishing your target audience and then branching out after that.
Yeah, because you can get all these things and you're going to change it 2 months from now because the direction of the show is different. That's why I always tell even my clients, don't invest and put all this stuff in here and into things in your shows when 6 months from now, y'all maybe want to go in a totally different direction, or y'all want to shift certain things. And then now you already did all this work of layovers and intros and stuff like that. And all this stuff starts to add up, you know?
Yeah.
So we want to slow down so we can speed up. And that needs to be the plan.
I gotcha.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so let me go back to your question about you're asking about how do I add like video intros and things like that. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna share my screen here. Here we go. So this is basically from another dashboard, but basically what I was saying was you can go to the brand section over here. on the right-hand side. And then if you scroll down, there's the video clip section. And so you could upload, like this is where I put my intros. You could put up to a 200 megabyte file or 10 minutes. So it's 10 minutes or 200 megabytes. And then that's where I would put I usually put my video intro there because I can turn it on. What I will typically do is this. I will put the thumbnail up, this one, for example, like this. And then I will then play the video intro. And then while that's playing, I will turn the video intro, the thumbnail off. And the reason I do it like that is because then I'm on screen when that's finished. Does that make sense?
Gotcha. Yeah.
So that's where you can put the video clips. Now, the other thing though is if your video is longer than 10 minutes, which by the way, I think 10 minutes for an intro is a long intro, really only needs to be a couple minutes. You can also use the share video function here at the bottom and then use the video file, and you could upload any video of any size at that point. But that's going to play off. That is going to play off your computer though. So you do have to keep that in mind. If you don't have a strong internet connection, that's literally uploading from your computer to your internet. So that's where I'd start with the video intro and even the video outro, for example. And I mean, really to get started, I mean, like, for example, you know how we have the StreamYard ones we showed at the beginning. If you want any of those, like you can just email me marketing@streamyard.com and just reference the countdown timer on live stream reviews. And I'm happy to send you the files so you can put them in to give you something to start with if you want to. Does that work?
Okay, that's perfect. Yeah, that's perfect. Because I always went to the branding and I put up my logo and stuff like that. I just haven't explored it enough and scrolled down enough.
Yeah. So there's that, and then if you go all the way to the bottom, by the way, at the bottom of the screen as well. So like, let's say you want to turn somebody's names on or off. So if you click this on or off, it'll actually turn off or turn on the names as well. So depending on if you want that. And then just remember, backgrounds go behind everything. So a good friend of mine, Neil Perek, was telling me we talk about the StreamYard sandwich, essentially, which is the background. So it's the background. That's what's behind us. Like right now, that's the blue. And then it's us on top, like our video frame. So it's background, us on top. And then if we have the logo, that's another section. And then if we do an overlay, that goes over top of everything.
I use the sandwich to explain Filmora whenever I do video tutorials, and I explain Filmora like a sandwich. It's okay. That makes a lot of sense.
So if you're using Filmora, you could actually use that as well to make an intro. One thing I would definitely caution you on. So music is a big challenge for live streaming. I don't like, I could tell you go use YouTube Sound Collective, Facebook's audio library as well. But I know depending on if you're multi-streaming, some of the platforms don't like that you are using music from YouTube on Facebook and so forth. So I always recommend paying for music, making sure I'm buying something that actually gives me a license to use it. Personally, I use Epidemic Sound. There's tons of other options, by the way. There is a blog post as well on streamyard.com/blog, which I'll put in a link in the chat here, but there's a whole bunch of there's like 20 something resources for free and paid options that you may want to consider.
Yeah, I just got the YouTube slap on the wrist too for copyright written.
Yeah, you got to. I mean, it's tough to really say what's right and what's wrong because I mean every platform is different. The key thing is you definitely can't just download something. You do have to pay for it.
Yeah. Hey, thanks a lot for your time, guys.
You're welcome. Does that answer your questions?
Yeah, that was perfect. That was excellent. I don't want to, like, I could probably just hang out here and talk to you guys for the next hour, but I see there's numerous people that want to jump in.
So here, how about we do this? We'll bring some other people on, and then if you decide you want to come back on, just come back in.
Awesome. Yes. Thank you very much.
Awesome. Thanks, John.
Yeah. NLTMWs, right? Music is like a major challenge these days. You just never know. There's no way to predict, So I always like to, what is it called? Err on the side of caution. I just don't have music at all in my streams.
Yeah, I mean, and like I said, I paid for mine. So like, I bought a license to that. Licenses are about, I think it's $100 and something a year, $200 a year. But again, it's also a business expense. It's also something I can use as well for other projects. So I'm not just buying it for a live stream. I can use it in other videos I'm making, and so forth. So just keep that in mind. Okay. So Leticia, do we have any other questions you want to bring up?
Yes. Let's go through some questions here.
There's quite a few, by the way.
Yes. If you see any post some up, I have asked, can I stream two? David asks, can I stream two lives together into YouTube? I won't.
You don't
I
want to
don't
be able to
want.
use, don't want to use the hop and okay. So
Mm,
I think there's a second part to that question. By the way, David, I don't know if you want to join us on screen. Actually, that'd be really awesome. So we could kind of go through
yes.
this. Because it's a good question. So, if you would join us on screen, that'd be awesome, actually.
Yes.
Let me see. So I'm at about the 12:07 mark. So give me a second. Let's see what we have here. Lots of good comments. We got Juma's coming back in. Thanks a lot, Juma.
Hey, Juma, how are you?
Hope your YouTube channel is working out. By the way, let us know if you made any adjustments from last week when we talked about your channel, organizing into playlists, maybe making some clips. Let's see.
Alyssa said, how do you invite guests on in a way that's not thirsty and would entice them to come on? That's funny.
You take that one, Leticia.
I mean, I wouldn't think that sounds per se thirsty. I mean, people want to come on, they want to come on. If they don't, they don't. And a closed mouth don't get fed. If you want guests on your show, you have to ask for guests to be on your show. And it's not like, if you feel that is desperate, then that's the energy that you're going to give. But when I tell people, hey, join my show, it's a great opportunity for you to get connected to a broader audience. And my community would love to hear what you have to say and what you have to contribute. That's really, showing a sense of honor to that person and also leveling up my show, so, that's my answer to that.
Here's the thing. I want to highlight the one point you made that I think is super important. And it's the fact that, and I tell everyone who asks me this, I will tell you the same thing. You have to ask people. Don't be afraid to ask people. That's the first thing. Because if you go in there with the mindset of, oh, well, they're bigger than me, for example, they're not
right.
Like if you never ask them, you're going to always be stuck with that mindset that it's never going to happen. But you know what? It is going to happen because you do have to keep asking. Like you're going to ask 10 people and, everybody, you're going to get 8 people who say no and 2 people are going to say yes. But hey, you know what? That's progress. So you're going to you have to continuously ask people if you want to have a guest, if you want to get them on as a guest. And I will tell you this, most people, it's the same thing for podcasts. So a lot of people, like they say, hey, how do I get guests on a podcast? Just ask people. People want to be on a podcast.
They want to be.
They literally just want you to ask them. Even very well-known people. For example, I think Seth Godin, for example, has been on a number of really small, like entrepreneur like podcasts, and it's because people reached out to him and asked. He may not like agree to all of them, but he may agree to a handful, and you may be one of those people. So it's you have to ask people if you want to try to get anywhere. And here's the thing: if they say no, guess what? There's
ask somebody else.
There's tons of people out there, lots of people that want to be on. And then it goes back to what Leticia said as well. Like if there are people that you ask, maybe it isn't the right fit for them.
Exactly.
But it's the right fit for somebody else.
Yeah. If they say no, then that's a missed opportunity. I think we got to stop listening to that inner audience in our heads that's telling us not to do things. It's only going to hold you back. I mean, people can call me arrogant or whatever, but I always go with the foot forward that I don't care how many followers you have. People can buy followers these days. I'm not going to compare what my step 5 to somebody's step 10. The only difference between me and that person is that they probably been in the game longer than I have or started way earlier than I've started. So that's the only difference. I can get exactly where you're at, if not surpass you. So you want to be on my show? Yes or no? No. Okay. Next. So that's how I look at it as.
And here's what's going to I'll say this. Here's what's probably going to happen when you have somebody come on and they say no, they may come around as your show grows. And then at that point, hey, they missed their chance. But you may, but don't hold that against them. If maybe they got something going on, and like, it's not the right time, but don't be afraid to go back and ask them. So
yes, they watching.
Got another question here from Truth Guitar Method. Says, I went live yesterday, went really well. Would like to know why my mic is crackling. So Truth Guitar Method, I'd love to know more about that. Like what?
Yeah, because you had that issue too before, right, Christian? Like about a month ago.
Yeah, I did. And for me, like the way I fixed it,
it was like popcorn. Like
I had to so I'd say this. The first thing is always, you probably know this if you're a musician, replace the cable. That's always like, first off, unplug everything and then plug everything in back one at a time and see where that issue comes up. So for example, if I plug it in into my mic here and I notice, hey, you know what, this is when I seem to be getting some crackling. Let me let me replace the cable. That's the first thing. And then, you know, if it could be a bigger issue, then, you know, maybe I have to replace the mic at some point. Things do go bad. You have to remember that stuff doesn't last forever. So do us a favor. Yeah. Truth Guitar. Feel free
That's
to
a mic drop. Stuff don't last forever. Amen to that.
Let's see.
Don't last forever, ever.
So here's let's pause at the 12:10 mark, Leticia. I got a lot of comments here. And then let's bring on somebody else.
Okay, so we're gonna pause at 12:10. So the next person that's coming on is Joel. You want me to bring him up now?
Yeah, sure, yeah.
Okay. Is it Joel or Joel?
Whichever one you prefer. That's fine.
Oh, thank you.
No worries. How you doing? Good to see you, by the way. Thanks a lot for joining us.
Thank you for having me. So I'm actually Truth Guitar Method.
Oh, cool. So, awesome. Oh, good. Okay.
Cool.
So your mic sounds really good right now. I'll tell you that. I don't hear any crackling.
Okay. So I went as far as I had a really bad PC, and what I ended up doing is I bought a new PC, and the crackling stopped. And so I kind of planned my life. I'm sorry.
Hold on. Let me pause real quick. I want to give everybody just a quick note. It doesn't mean you have to go buy a new PC, by the way. Even though new equipment does solve the solution, buying a new PC is not the easiest thing to do. Just want to make sure I preface that. Okay.
Yes,
so
Christian.
You solved
that is
the PC.
straight.
Okay, great. Okay. And that solved your crackling. Okay.
Yeah. So solved the crackling and plugged in everything. And I set up the show for last night. And basically what my show is I provide my community with a guitar backing track. Okay. And then what they end up doing is they have a month to upload themselves kind of soloing over that backing track. And then we go live and we talk about how they did, give them prompts, and then just kind of have fun. And I was having fun. And then when I asked my moderator after I was done, I said, how did everything sound? They're like, oh, you were just crackling occasionally. And I was like, no, like, why was I crackling? And so I have no idea what it was. The computer is top notch right now. Yeah. And the microphone, I'm not going to lie, I could do a lot better. I just need you guys to justify, give me a legit reason to buy one. Because if you're saying right now that it sounds good, there's no crackling or anything like that, then I can't justify going out and spending, you know, upwards $300 to $500 on a new microphone when this is doing the job. Like I just, you know, I can't justify it. But I would like to know what would be the best settings for the microphone, because I have particular settings in order to play the music that my community comes on, right? So that it sounds perfect and it doesn't sound out like washed out music. And so if I have to keep going back and forth to echo cancellation and all that stuff, I'd rather not do that. What would be the best setting for what I'm doing, since I'm doing the music plus me talking? Because I have to mute myself when we're doing the music, right? And so I have to come back and forth and stuff. So what do you guys think?
What kind of mic are you using? Let's start there.
So it's a newer mic. Okay. It's bottom of the barrel. It's when I first decided to do YouTube, I just kind of bought the essentials. I didn't go out and spend a whole bunch of money. It's about a $25 mic. That includes the boom stand. So
okay. So what's the model? Do you happen to know? Like, I'll look it up real quick.
Yeah, NW-700.
NW. There you go. Okay, so I think it's this mic, isn't it? Let me just share this. Let me know if it's this one. This is the 800, but is it this one basically? Essentially this one minus all these other extras?
Yeah, it's the bottom one. Then that one.
Yeah, it's
the one you hovered over right
this
there.
One? Okay. Yeah, so let's just check this out. So I mean, I think what is this going into? I've
had the channel now for over a year and grown consistently.
Yeah.
And which is, super awesome. And like I said, I just can't justify buying a new one if it's doing its job.
Yeah.
But I mean, if you can give me a legit reason to get another one, I can get my wife on board.
The only stuff that I hear, I will say this, the only thing that I hear right now is, and I don't know if you have any sort of like gating going on, but like I keep hearing like when you talk and then you stop, I do hear like a change in the sound. So I don't know if it's like if it's actually filtering out if you got some sort of filter filtering out the background.
No.
The background noise. Okay.
Yeah, I do not have a filter, and I have been told that my microphone does that before.
Okay. I don't hear it. I can tell you right now, I do not hear it at all. I mean, if everybody's tuning in, if you all hear any feedback from Joel here, like I'm not hearing anything. It sounds like I'll stop talking actually, and it's quiet.
Yeah. So basically, like right now, I'm running it at maybe 10% volume.
Okay. So
10% volume.
Okay. So I think the volume sounds fine. Honestly, I think it sounds fine. If you started increasing the volume, you started hearing like clipping, then of course at that point you need to dial things back. But it sounds fine to me. I would say this. I mean, in my case, when I had an issue with mine, it was actually my headphone cable. Like I had a 6-foot long cable running. I'm running into a mixer, but it was going from my mixer into these in-ear monitors, and I was hearing it there, and people were not hearing it on their end. And it was literally the fact that I just had to go buy another cable.
Right. So to be quite honest, normally I would run it maybe like 50% all the time. And then last night I decided to do maybe like 20% gain.
Yeah.
And right now when I decided I'm going to go on the show with you guys, I have it like at 10%. So in my opinion, when I was listening back to the live show, it sounds like I was clipping. To me, that's what it sounds like. But it does sound like crackling. But I think it was clipping. I don't know.
So, I mean, I try a couple of things. I would try I'd either try the basic stuff, unplug everything, replug it back in. If you have another pair of headphones, plug in this, keep everything else the same, plug in the headphones, see if you hear any difference there. Because it could very well just be the headphones, or like something in the headphones could be going bad. The cable that plugs in, if those plug in, it could be that as well. The other thing also, if you ever keep, like if you have a smartphone nearby, this can cause a lot of interference.
Oh,
whole lot of interference. Oh yes. Like if you've ever been on if you've ever been on watching a video or doing anything, you'll hear it's like a pulsating, that's usually your phone interfering with something around you.
Okay, so that's interesting. I do run my phone when I do a live, and that's just so that I can keep up with the chat, because you know how that's 10-second delay. And so I do keep it, right here, like right off camera.
I would say this, if you for example, all my equipment is on this side, my phone is over here. So I keep it basically out of the way of everything.
Gotcha.
So I would maybe try some kind of setup like that. If you have to have it near you, I don't know if you have a tablet or anything around you, you may want to consider using the tablet maybe for, if you happen to have one.
I think I'm gonna do that instead.
Because then that will actually shut your cell phones. That'll actually keep the cell phone signal off. Because the other thing is, what a lot of people do is they leave the cell phone signal and the Wi-Fi on. Maybe you turn the cell phone signal off and just use the Wi-Fi.
Go airplane mode.
Yes, because that could also cause some interference.
I didn't even know that was a thing. Okay.
Yeah, that's a good point. That's a good point.
But you don't
also, maybe it's your room too. I know last week somebody came on and they had put a soundproof thing on their wall so that the sound wouldn't bounce back.
Yeah, I actually do have soundproofing in the room because I do a lot of guitar stuff.
Yeah.
So I do have soundproofing.
Awesome. Yeah.
Awesome.
And by the way, your other question you're asking about Stream Deck integration and things like that.
Oh,
it's on our roadmap. I don't have a deadline of when that's going to be out or hotkeys, but they are questions that we get quite a bit. I did note them as feature request again.
That's I mean, I still use it.
Yeah.
I just, I've managed to like use the chat option on it, and then switching and sounds and voices and all these other things. But I'd like to control StreamYards with it. That'd be nice, because then I don't have to do, all the, mouse maneuvering and stuff. It'd be super sweet.
Yeah, no, you're absolutely right. It's a question we get a lot. I have a Stream Deck as well myself, and I just use it for other things right now instead of streaming. So, but I know that it's being something that's being worked on. So,
right,
super awesome.
Awesome.
All right. Well, that was my question.
Cool.
Thank you so much. So tell my wife that I can buy a new microphone, right?
Yes, right. Yes.
All right. Well, thank you guys. Thank you so much. I appreciate you guys having me.
By the way, before I drop you off,
right there.
I want to make sure I got your YouTube channel. I just want to show everybody who's tuning in. I think it's right, Truth Guitar Method, right?
Yes.
Awesome. So I will say this. I mean, you've got about 4,000 subscribers. By the way, just to give you
congrats.
How often are you streaming?
I stream twice a month. I do the Jam of the Month, which is the one that you see there, the live TGM Jam of the Month.
Okay.
That's on the last Friday of every month.
Okay.
And then I do one like maybe 2 weeks into the month, and that's just like a guitar chat or me giving a lesson or something like that.
Cool. I got to say this. I mean, I'm going to speak about this from a live standpoint. I like the fact that all of your content centers around guitar. Like,
that's my niche, man. Actually, it's in my channel. It's a Christ-centered guitar channel, but it's geared for beginners.
Okay.
And anybody who's struggling to kind of get past the little hurdles when you get stuck, those plateaus.
Well, I mean, you're doing really well with this. So doing it twice a month. Remember, because the other thing also I think I should highlight here is that if you doing live, like if you're just doing live, that you're not, you might run into challenges of just getting people to constantly tune in, right? So what you're doing though, which I really like, is that you're supplementing that. So you're doing pre-records and you're doing live video.
Right.
That's a really good thing, because then somebody might come across, for example, like they might be looking at, let me find this one, like the Spark amp, for example. They might have been checking out your video and then they didn't know you did a live.
Right.
And then that can be a way to get them into your live streams, or they're checking out, some of your other content that you've got. Or if you're doing the live, you could even maybe say, hey, you know what? I also published, a video about, finger confusion, for example, and here's a link to that video. So this way you can use the two together as opposed to just relying on one type of video. So
yes. So the idea actually came, I do have a little community going, right? And they come in and they check out the videos and stuff. And about 3 months ago, I was on someone else's live and they invited people to submit their guitar performances. So I submitted one. And then I was like, man, that would be super cool if I could get my tiny community to participate with my channel. So what I do is I create one backing track per month, a little short one, 1 to 2 minutes. And I tell them the style, but I don't tell them like what key it's on or anything like that. They kind of have to like challenge themselves to do it.
Yeah.
And then they record themselves playing, and then we go live. I show their video. We go on to their page, give them a like and talk about it. And then I have these little emojis when you join the channel, and, we give them like star points or something like that. And I thought that was a really good way of capturing the community's interest. It's still growing. That was only the second one. The third one is this June. So awesome. I've only had like 4 or 5 participations per challenge. That's awesome. And so it's been a lot of fun. And as far as StreamYards, I do the $10. I was offered that $10 option.
Yeah,
that's good for my channel at the moment. I think if I start picking up revenue, then I might go pro, because I like the 1080. You guys look amazing, right? And so the 720 gets on my nerves a little bit, but I grow with the pace of the channel, so we'll see.
Yeah, and the people who are watching are not like, oh, I'm not going to watch because he's not at 1080p. You know what I mean? I can see you doing stuff. Do you do anything with kids? Like, do you do lessons for children?
Yeah, so I'm actually an elementary music teacher, and I did not do any music with kids.
You should.
But then I had a TikTok video. I guess I can't say go viral, right? But it kind of went nuts on there and got over 300,000 views. And so it attracted some people. So now what I'm doing, if you check out the videos on the channel, is I have recordings of like me talking to the kids or me singing a song. And I connected those videos to my website, and my website was all geared just for guitar. And what I did is I opened up a tab just for music educators, where I provide lesson plans and stuff like that. So that was another way of, picking up a new portion of a community. Yeah. But I haven't thought of a way.
That's a humongous community.
Yeah. So I haven't thought of a way to integrate, like, maybe interviews with other teachers or something like that. It's been on my mind. The thing is, I'm a believer in doing what you love, right? And guitar is my first love if we're talking about work. And teaching elementary music, super fun, super awesome. But I can't say that I'm as passionate as guitar. Does that make sense?
Right. I'm gonna sign all my kids up if you were doing it.
there you go. Well, yeah, and so I know I have hurdles, right, because of that, because I don't want to kind of I'm letting it in just a little bit.
Right.
But I don't want it to take over my entire channel, because I want to make sure that I'm having fun with what I'm doing all the time.
Right.
Awesome. Thanks for joining us, and thanks for telling us about your show. And again, if you have other questions about your audio, if you have any crackling, more of it, feel free to reach out to me. I'm happy to help. So
awesome. Does it sound good right now? That's all I want to know.
Yeah.
Say no, and then I can go buy.
I know. No, here's the thing. I seriously, I think it sounds very good, actually.
Okay. All right.
And if you do need another mic, just let me know what your budget is, and I can make some recommendations.
Father's Day is coming up.
That's a good,
Okay.
That's a good way to say, honey.
What's coming up? Yeah. Well, yeah. I'm looking at some decent options.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. In the higher spectrum of the expense budgetary fun,
Very cool. No, awesome. Thanks for joining us. Yeah, and I made a note about your channel, so thank you very much.
Sweet. Yes. Awesome. Thank you, guys.
See you. Bye.
Bye.
Yeah, I totally get what he's saying when you're trying to convince your spouse that, hey, I need a $200 mic or $400 mic, because they're still seeing it as a hobby.
Yeah.
We taking it as this is what we do. Like, this is our vision. It's here. It's in our minds. And they're like, you're just making an expensive hobby. Like, so that's the hurdle.
Yeah.
Yes.
Very, very true. I mean, here's the thing, but I will say, I like the fact that he's taking it slow.
Right.
He's letting, like, as things are moving along, he's making the investment versus some people just make that big upfront cost, at the beginning when they have, the show doesn't have a plan, or, they don't even know if it's going to be successful at all. So,
and I also like how he mentioned that even though he likes doing, music with children, that's not really what his passion is. So sometimes even when we see that there's a big audience out there, if we're not passionate at giving that content geared around them, we're not going to be consistent.
Oh, absolutely. Nope. So I was looking through, like, we've got so many really good comments from people. By the way.
Yes. I'm going back up a little bit so we don't miss any ones. Did you see this one here from Adam? Christian, what is a good free, inexpensive one-time free calendar? I've been looking at them.
So I will say this one you could look at is, and let me see if I can get the price. Actually, there's one called Tidy Cal. Let me see. No, most of these, that's gonna be, I will say, that's gonna be one of the challenges with a lot of these. They're gonna always, most of these are like, this one might work. Adam, do me a favor, just send me a PM with your budget on that, because there's so many of these out there. I mean, I pay for like Calendly, for example, like that works really well. But again, it's a monthly cost,
right?
so you do kind of have to look at like if you're going to have people consistently on your show, then you want to make sure you have a system, as Leticia said earlier, that's going to help with that.
Right, right.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, it's like, yeah, there's I use Calendly too. Yes, there's a monthly fee, but if I'm not using it, I'm not going to get that ROI back. So we pay for these subscription plans, but we're not sending out the link. We're not using it. So we say, well, it's not worth it. But are you using it? That's really the key. So if you're going to pay for it, use it. And that's how you get back your return on your investment from it.
Definitely. Yeah. No, excellent point. So let's see. Are there any other comments in here you want to bring up? I mean, I know there probably are.
Features. Oh, hotkeys. I think you went over that already.
Yeah. Adam's exploits bringing up big issue he has is 80% of his guests refuse to wear earbuds and headphones. Again, this came up in our community as well. Like, I'd recommend wearing headphones all the time. I'm wearing headphones. It doesn't look like it, but I'm wearing headphones, and I've got their in-ear monitors. So basically, they make clear ones, black ones, green ones, blue ones, whatever. But basically, they go in your ear. They then go down the back of my neck, and then I have a nice, like, slim, low profile. Or you can always, put on the over ear ones. But I don't know. I mean, I think I'd always recommend people wearing headphones just because it's going to help give you a better sound. So, for example, if they're on their phone and they're just talking into it, like, you may even want to tell them, it doesn't sound good when you don't wear headphones. Like, and maybe impress upon them that, like, you want to make sure you sound your best because you're presenting yourself when you're talking on something.
Right.
So,
and what's their reason for not wearing headphones? I've never had an issue with anyone wearing headphones on my show. So I'm quite interested to hearing what is some of the reasons why they don't want to wear it.
Yeah, I would. I'd love to hear what the reasoning is behind why they don't want to wear headphones.
It's for their benefit to make them sound better. That's it's for their benefit.
Okay, so let's see. We got Truth Guitar Method. Let me see. I'm going to answer one more question, and we're going to bring on let Leticia bring on the next guest.
Yes, the next guest is. I don't want to skip anybody.
By the way, Joel Kitko is
Melinda.
asking, having a trademark copyright attorney on your show. Yeah, so that's something where I will ask you all, the community. Like, I have some ideas of people I want to have on.
Yeah, you guys let us know.
But I need to also know if you have recommendations, because copyright trademark attorney is very different thing. You can't just go get an attorney for that. And so we want to make sure we have the right person on. So if you happen to have people that would be, you think would be a good guest that could talk about this topic,
and it's knowledgeable,
let me know. Okay, Leticia, I'm going to stop at the 12. Let's see. Let's stop at the 12:20 mark.
12:20, and we're going to bring on Melinda. Melinda mentioned that she doesn't want her camera on, but she did pop her face in on the bottom. Cool. So Melinda, when you're ready, we'll add you, or if you want, keep your camera on, give me a thumbs up. It's up to you.
Oh, Milda. Okay, Milda, right?
Milda, I'm sorry. Okay. Milda. My bad, girl. I messed up her name. You ready? Okay, let's bring her on. I call her Melinda, honey. I turned you into a sister. Okay.
Hi.
Hi.
Hi. So I'm from Lithuania, so my English is not so good as I wanted to. But I hope you'll understand. And a little bit of history in our whole country. There are only 3 million people, so we are a little one in Europe. I wanted to share the first steps of my show.
Sure.
Because there was, I have a lot of information in my head. Should be here. About real estate, but I didn't want to go and make some video or post or tell everything about one stuff or another stuff. So I decided to go live. I was so afraid. But as you said, both of you, just ask to go with you on the show. I am obsessed with the networking. So I have a lot of people to come to me. And first, the second, the third guests was what have I to say? What about now? About what we'll be talking? Something, anything. Let's just go and talk. And there is Antashukas is my real estate comb like for here, because I decided to go once a week, 20 minutes, me and other specialists, and that decision was the right and the easiest way to start, because I did know what to say and what do I have to ask them. My message for all those who are starting, just go and try, because I followed Evan oh, sorry, I didn't remember his name, but he said, when you make 100 videos, then you can criticize yourself, because now I'm wearing earbuds, but first 10th I didn't have them, so my sound was terrible from the bucket. What sound does it like now? Is it better, or is it I have to improve like previous Joel, if I said it correctly?
So are you asking about your current sound setup right now?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so I have a couple questions, and Adam's Exploits was actually bringing this up as well. So what kind of mic? So do you have a microphone you're using, or? Okay, so that's part of the problem. Okay, so I'm going to use you as an example, if that's okay. So you're using the laptop mic, right?
Actually, HD camera.
Webcam? Okay, you're using the webcam mic. Okay, so you're using the mic from your webcam. So I want everybody to, I want them to be able to hear that there's it'll sound good on your end, but when other people are hearing it, it's not going to sound as good, because that mic is designed to pick up everything pretty much. It's an open mic. And so for something like that, I always recommend, I would recommend something like the Samson Q2U. It's about a $70 microphone. I'm not sure what I will say. I'm not sure what it is there where you're at. But I would definitely recommend something like a Samson Q2U. The reason I would recommend that is because it's it actually can do two things. Actually, sorry, it's actually $60. Looks like it's $60. Let's see. So this is a Samson Q2U, and it's you're going to want to wear headphones. So, but the thing is, this mic, it's going to be. I would use my webcam for just the camera portion, and then I'd plug in the separate mic. Some people are recommending using a lavalier mic, but I would definitely recommend like a Samson Q2U. And this is what the Samson Q2U looks like, by the way, for those of you watching. And it's got here, I'll show you guys how this looks. So basically it's going to plug in, it's got two options. It plugs in via USB or XLR. So you can start with the USB connection, and then you can move up to XLR. XLR requires an audio interface, all the other stuff, but you can also plug in headphones as well. So you plug your headphones into here, you plug the USB into your computer, and then it should be a pretty good sounding mic actually, to take out some of that hiss that you're getting right now. Right now, that's being picked up by the microphone, because it's this little tiny mic on top of the, literally on top of this. So for example, here I have here, let me go back to this. So like, for example, I've got, a webcam, and if I wanted to use this for my microphone, it's not going to be very good. It's going to pick up all sorts of noise. It's designed to be the camera, but not necessarily the camera and the microphone, even though it has a mic input in it. Does that help?
Yes, but one more question. If I change audio in my microphone from AirPods.
Okay.
This one.
So that one sounds a little bit better. It doesn't sound. That's another recommendation. I also don't recommend using AirPods. AirPods are great for exercise and just you watching a movie or something like that on your device. But when you hear them on the other side, they don't sound so good. They sound better than what you have now, but that's because the mic is closer to your mouth as opposed to the mic on the camera, which is picking up everything.
And I can answer the question about why my guest also didn't want to wear headphones.
Yeah.
Because I don't look pretty. that was the craziest answer.
Yeah, because people don't like the way they look. Yeah.
So thank you a lot. Have a nice day.
Oh, you're welcome. No, does this help? I mean, I hope, like, if you have any other questions, just let us know. But that's what I'd recommend from a good mic to start with, and then you can always level up to something else. That's going to help give you, again, plug in the headphone. Like, if they don't like the way they look, get these. These are like in-ear monitors. They basically just go in my ear, and then look at that. It doesn't look like I'm wearing headphones. So, and so there's different kinds of headphones they can buy. They can buy the ones that go right here, that go down, in front of you, or they can get the ones that go behind their ears, that literally just go around in the ear. So lots of options there for them to consider. But that's also on the guest. So, but make sure, they should wear headphones. It's the best thing they should do.
Because if they don't use their headphones, I have to move them or myself after they're talking. Is that right?
You have to remember this too, as well. Like, I mean, if somebody's not going to wear headphones, it's your show. So you want to make sure that, like, I tell people, like, for example, minimize distractions around you, like wear headphones, for example, restart your computer, do just something that's basic, common live stream checklist before they're going to get started. And then just focus for like that 30 minutes or that 1 hour, however long that, episode is.
Yeah. You got to have standards really, and let them know, like, even though appearance may be important to them, your standards are content, sound, and then after that, appearance. So the appearance is basically secondary to your show. You want to make sure that, people are hearing the guests and the guest is conveying their content. Everything else beyond that is not something that's extremely important.
And the last one, not a question, but to share, as I wanted to go live stream more and more with confidence, I started the second one at Give Us Designers. It's live communication because I ask on Friday, I ask people to go on my show and talk about the message, to spread the message they want. What do you want to share? What do you want to talk about? Because my audience is so open, and there are not many hundreds, only not thousands yet. But I just building my confidence, building the brand, building just going.
Let me see something else. So that's what I'd recommend. I mean, I think, like, also, back to what Leticia said. I mean, it's your show, so you need to make sure that you control, like, what your show is. Like, if you have like, you should have standards for your show. And, for example, don't just get on and chit chat. Like, spend your time wisely with those people. Show that you mean business, basically. So, that you're not just on there to, like, hey, we're going to just, like, just chat for, like, 15 minutes about, a random topic, because people are tuning in to, like, they're tuning into you for help. So, whether it's help or conversation or information. Yeah. Okay.
Okay. Thank you. Bye.
Very welcome. Thank you so much. Bye. Okay. Leticia, where do we stand with questions? By the way, and I want to thank Adam's Exploits for letting me know about the audio. I'm glad we could help diagnose that.
Yes. So I saw a lot of great comments. I was scanning through 4 questions. Someone asked what type of laptop she's using, but I think she already said that.
Yeah.
No, I'm not.
I mean, here's the thing. I think in her case, like, I don't think the laptop was the issue.
Yeah. It's like
literally when she switched to the AirPods, it sounded very different, right? Let's see what else we got here. And by the way, if we didn't get to your question that's on there, if you had a question, just put #ask and we will get to it. And again, if you have a feature request, #feature.
Right.
Let's see. So
Steven is up next.
Yeah, let's go bring on Steven. But yeah, there's a lot of good recommendations, by the way, in the comments. So
Sure.
check those out.
Pull those up. Yeah. Pull those recommendations up.
Okay. So yeah, Dimag Darren was saying he agreed on the mic. Yeah. So okay, who's next? Who's coming on, Leticia?
Steven is next.
Cool. Steven,
you ready, Steven? All
cool.
right.
Okay, let's do it. Hey Steven, how you doing?
Hey, how's it going?
Good.
So I was going to say, I'll start off by just saying that I'm loving using StreamYard. I use it for a lot of different stuff.
Yeah.
For my personal business, I'm doing these 1-minute videos each day. And what I'm doing is I'm just doing them live, and I'm using the same thing that you're using with the backgrounds and then the video for the intro and all that. So it's giving me this really high-end quality look, and I'm not having to spend any time on editing at all.
Yeah. I love
that.
Yeah. Your audio sounds good, by the way. It sounds very good. You've got headphones, obviously. It looks like you're using the Blue Yeti. Is that right?
Yeah, this is the Yeti X.
Nice. Yeah, and one thing to note about the Yeti, by the way, for those of you who happen to have a Yeti, is to make sure that you position it correctly. A lot of times there have been people that have come across, they've been positioning for the wrong way for years. They've had it actually backwards. And then they wondered, well, why is the audio not as good? So but no, it sounds really good. It sounds like you got a really good quiet room as well to be in as well. So
yeah, I was kind of debating with this room because it's a big room.
Yeah.
And when I'm on this mic, when I'm here at the desk, I don't really get too much issue with audio. I have a glass top desk, so I was thinking about maybe at least putting something here to help a little with that.
Yeah.
But I have noticed if I use my lav mic, if I'm standing and I'm back a little bit, there's a lot of echo. So I do need to maybe kind of look at doing something with that. But as long as I'm here at the desk, it seems to be fun.
So for something like that, by the way, if you wanted to, so one thing to mention, by the way, so Steven said he's using a glass desk. You have to think about that when you're speaking into your microphone. If your desk is glass, your voice is hitting the desk and bouncing back. So for something like that, by the way, Steven, if you do want to sort of deaden the desk a little bit, you could always put one of those, like the desk mat. Have you seen those? Basically, it's
I was looking at some of those actually yesterday, and I came across somebody made a comment on a thread and said that they saw a lot of people using yoga mats, that they cut down the yoga mat.
Yeah.
Seems like it would work really well, nice and thick.
Yeah. You could totally go with something like that. Yeah, just make sure you flatten it out.
All that cushion.
There's also another thing also that I also like, but it comes down to if you have enough desk space. There's a wrap you can put. There's this it's almost like it goes around the microphone. And so it's like a sound deadening booth.
Oh, yes.
It goes around the mic. So when you speak, all of that noise, all of the sound goes into your voice goes into the very soundproofed area around the microphone. It literally goes like this around the mic. And so when you speak into it, but the downside is, as I mentioned, you do need a lot of desk space, but that'd be another option if you wanted to go with something like that. But I like the yoga mat option. So what question can we answer for you? What questions do you have?
Yeah, so we also have a sports show that we do. We started it in November of 2019, and we had no idea that 5 months later there'd be no live sports for like 4 months.
Yeah.
So that was a lot of fun, but we kept doing the show every week after, even during the pandemic, even during the shutdown, we still did our show. So we're now coming up on almost 1.5 years of doing the show consistently.
Right.
And it grew pretty well for a while. We got to about 55 subscribers, and we have a core group of people who tune in every week. They interact in the chat, and we're getting good connection with the people that are there. They're loving the content.
Okay.
But we can't grow the show anymore. We've everything we've tried, we're posting on social media, we're promoting it throughout the week. We're going to other podcasts. We've had other podcast hosts come on our show as special guests. We've done all these things to help expand our audience, but it just hasn't grown.
So what can I pull up here? Do you have something I can pull up?
Yeah, if you go to playcallersportstalk.com, it will take you right to the YouTube channel.
What's the channel called? I'm on YouTube. What's the channel?
Play Callers Sports Talk.
play caller. Okay.
And while Christian's looking it up, when you say growing the channel, obviously it means growing subscribers. So obviously I'm a huge numbers person. So how many subscribers new subscribers are you saying that you're getting every month?
I wouldn't even say that we're getting any on a monthly basis. We're at 55 total, and that's, like I said, we've been doing it since November of 2014.
Okay.
So.
Okay, so, and I'm going to do two things. So I'm going to pull up your channel, and then the other thing I want to make sure I mention. So what I'm going to do, because I want to make sure I don't do too much overlap, I will take a look at the live component, give you some suggestions here, and then we also have a YouTube channel review show as well that we do. It's done once a month with Daniel Batal and Dee Nemen on this channel as well. They do it on Saturday, the one Saturday that we take off. So they will actually give you a YouTube observation of it, like first impressions, things like that. So I'm going to look at it from a live perspective. Okay. So you do this show. Okay. So, so it's Fridays. So let's start with the time. I'm just going to throw out some ideas here. I mean, your show is at 8:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on a Friday. Have you considered another day, another time? Maybe I'm just, or maybe tested a different time or day.
So the problem that we've run into is my co-host, his daughter plays soccer.
Okay.
And so a lot of times that's the only time that he can 100% be available. So if we do any other time, there's going to be times where he's available, and then there's going to be times that he's not. So that was why we ended up on that time, that was when he could definitively be available. We could do later, but that would be our only other option.
So, Leticia, do you have any suggestions offhand?
What is your audience like? Who are you trying to reach?
So I don't think we've ever really sat down and tried to target a set demographic of people. It's more just sports. We talk mostly football and basketball, but we do incorporate some other sports into the conversation as well. But I would say our primary focus is football and basketball.
Football and basketball. Okay, so
you're sort of targeting two audiences essentially.
Yeah, and if I were you, I would look at other channels, because my husband follows a lot of people on YouTube. He's big into basketball and football, but he'll watch one channel that's just football, and that's all he wants to see is his team and them talking about his basketball team, which is the Knicks. And then for football, the Vikings. He is another individual that talks just about Vikings. They got the purple everywhere and the skull and all that stuff, right? So I think it's a lot going on. I think right now you guys are doing great. I think niching down needs to be the plan. Okay. Like getting clear on, okay, sports is so broad. It's so big. It's time to narrow it down. And I know that's hard. I'm not going to sit up here act like it's easy, because y'all do want to still talk about everything. That's what y'all been comfortable with talking about. But now it's time for you to talk to that particular individual who's watching, is going to be tuning in every single week into the show. Like Friday nights, 8:30. That's family time. Like he's, I don't want him. I don't want him looking on the show, but again, the people will watch the replay. So again, but if you want to get that live viewership, I would definitely consider you guys thinking about shifting the day and the time to maybe earlier in the day, not later. And I'm thinking a weekend.
So how many people tune in, by the way? So sorry. So I'm seeing like you can have them where they can call in, for example. How many people call in? Like, do you end up with crickets when you do this, or what? How do you?
So we actually just added the call-in component about 2 weeks ago.
Okay.
So we've actually had a few people call and leave voice messages that we're playing on air.
Okay. The other thing also, I'm just looking here. So it's literally just the two of you on screen. Do you have any and again, this gets into, I'm gonna say potential legal issues, but showing there needs to sort of be a pattern break at some point where if you're I can't hear what you're talking about, but let's say you're talking about a basketball game, for example. Is there a way for you to bring up any sort of highlight, for example, or any sort of image, something to kind of break this pattern as opposed to just being the two of you on there talking about it? Because here's what I'm thinking. like I'm thinking, for example, when I go watch like sports highlights, for example, I go over to ESPN or something like that, right? I'm watching a 30-second to like a 1 minute, like in your face, here's 30 seconds, 1 minute about something versus this looks like it's 70 minutes. And that's a long time, actually.
I'm thinking if y'all going to talk about sports, it needs to just either y'all just going to talk about football only, just talk about basketball only. That's because even when I'm watching the sports channels, are they talking about all the sports? Are they talking about golf, basketball, football, and all that stuff? Or are they just, because I know what channels that we watch, they're just talking about football or they're just talking about basketball. It's not a whole collaboration of everything. And just like someone mentioned, John, I think sports channels, that's hard, especially if you're are not niching down.
I would say we're kind of similar to like Sports Center, where they actually do talk about different sports and different stuff throughout the course of the show. And I mean, I think it can be done, but it is difficult, like you said, if you don't really have like a niche for
basically
somebody.
You would need to go live every time a new thing comes up. Like if a player gets switched from one team to the next. So if you wait till Friday, people are like already watched that conversation already, someplace else. So I know for some channels too, like when something happens, they go live and they talk about it right then and there because it's the hot topic, But I know that's hard because then you and your guest has to also be able to, go live at any given time when something new comes up, whether it be anything that comes up in the sports world.
And one idea. Sorry, go ahead, Christian.
I was gonna give you a couple of little feedback points. So, like one thing I notice here, for example, you don't have any tags in your videos. So your videos no tags. Tags, title, description, for example. I feel like, so for example, I don't know what your show is about at this point. I know that it's about sports, which is great. But for example, if you're talking basketball and football, are we talking NCAA, NBA, high school? What are we talking about exactly? And then what is this show about? Does that make sense?
Right.
Sorry, what is this episode about? Because then, for example, like, let's see. So last night, let's see, what was it? The Brooklyn Nets and the,
I think if you hit show more, I think if you hit the show more there.
Yeah. Okay. So, okay. So like last night was like Brooklyn Nets and like the Boston Celtics, for example. Let's just say you were talking about that game. Okay. You're going to want your title to be about the topic that you're talking about. It doesn't need to be the date of the episode or even the title of the show.
Right. Yeah. Take that out. So you should have just had the Brooklyn Nets there and the other team and just have the hashtags too on the bottom. So that's why when people are on YouTube and they're typing in Brooklyn Nets, your stuff pops up.
So like, well, and I'll even give you a more detailed example here.
Right,
so like,
right.
You're talking about NBA playoffs. Okay, well, what are you talking about? The whole NBA playoffs? Are you talking about the play-in tournament? Are you talking about the Lakers? Are you talking about the Suns? Are you talking about a particular series? Talking about Eastern Conference, Western Conference? What are you talking about? Because you just listed
about the whole thing.
Okay, so I'd maybe be a little more descriptive here. So like NBA playoffs, and then maybe mention some of the teams. And then, for example, you're talking about Julio Jones and Aaron Rodgers. Again, those would become tags as well. Like it. So does this make sense? Like it's partly niching down, as Leticia said, like football, basketball, etc. Like what are you talking about? Big picture, and then what is that episode about? It's awesome. You can go through and like rattle off some of these different things. The other thing you also then need to do, like let's say at 5 minutes in, you were talking about the NBA playoffs. You need to add YouTube chapter markers to these videos.
Right.
And you basically do it by putting like 05:00 and then whatever. So put chapter markers in, because that would actually then help YouTube, for example, if Google or YouTube happen to pick this up, people could then go right to the chapter marker and not have to actually fast forward through your whole show to figure out where that's at. And then on top of that, you need to definitely niche down on what these are, because then if this is talking about like Aaron Rodgers and Julio Jones, maybe that's part of the title, and then your tag could include Aaron Rodgers, Julio Jones, Green Bay Packers,
right,
Falcons, the team that they're rumored to go to, NFL, that sort of thing as well. And then and you were going to ask me something else as well, right? So what was your other question?
Yeah, well, I was going to say, I mean, in terms of the titles, I agree with you. It's been a bit of a struggle just because we're talking about 7, 8 different topics during the course of the show. So it's a little bit difficult to try to figure out what to put into the title.
Well, maybe niche down the topics. Yeah, so the title can be very targeted and specific.
Yeah, because when I do videos from my personal brand, I don't do the titles as the name of the show. I do them as what I'm talking about because I'm only talking about one thing.
Right,
So I get where you're coming from. It's just been difficult here.
Yeah. Your live show should totally be the same, should follow the same type process. Like, don't just use the name of the show.
Yeah.
Like the name of the show could be a tag. It could be in the description, but it doesn't need to be in the title.
Right.
Because the title is key information. So like if I went to YouTube right now and I search for like, I don't know, here, let's just look up. Like I will tell you, there are a handful of sports shows that I do tune into. And it's like, for example, it's one guy and he's talking about like a team or a player or something like that. Versus he's giving me this big picture of things.
Right.
What other let me see
what he's doing like with all the topics would work good if he's targeting women, because we like, you know, but men, you guys are very like, your attention span's a little shorter, so it's like, not, no offense, but like maybe niching down the topics would be better.
Yeah.
Let's see. I mean, aside from that, I mean, I think that like we've got some good comments here from, let me find it. A couple people actually like the artwork.
Yes, the artwork's good.
The graphics for the stream. He does recommend like maybe some better lighting to kind of like give it a lot more what's the word? Put a little more light on your face. I'd recommend, by the way, for Cool McCain here, I would recommend, it looks like his laptop is leaning backwards. So he may want to bring it forwards, raise it up so that the camera is right there at eye level.
Right.
So I would definitely recommend something like that. And then the other small tweak I would make is bringing the two of you to the same height. So, for example, you're nice and big in front of the screen. He's not as tall in that sense. So you may want to bring his headroom up a little bit.
Okay.
Right. I agree.
But that's minor stuff compared to niching down the topic that you're doing. So
my other question, you brought up this idea that we really would have to go live almost every time anything happens. And one of the ideas I've been kind of kicking around is maybe throughout the week, as stories happen, just doing a 1 to 2 minute video talking about that topic.
Right. Just
and then using that to promote people to come and actually talk
about
more
there
stuff
on
Fridays.
I like that idea.
And you could also take that, and if you wanted to, those could become video clip segments that you play inside of StreamYard.
That's right.
Okay. So if you use the share, so you basically could go into like StreamYard, record it, or go into wherever you want to on your phone, for example, record it, save it to your computer, and then bring it into StreamYard as a video file. And then that way, as you're talking about it during the segment, you bring it up and you can talk about it.
I like that.
That makes sense?
That idea.
Yep.
Cool.
Yep.
Let us know. Yeah, if you have any, let's like do us a favor. Like I'd recommend like, so for example, if you're doing the show, make sure you're asking people to get their subs up. Make sure you ask them, you know, like, hey, don't forget to like and subscribe. Encourage them to tune in. I did want to make one other comment about your artwork, your thumbnail artwork. I like the look of the overlays, like what you look like on screen. When you start to change the titles of these episodes, you're going to want to change your thumbnail a little bit.
Right.
The thumbnail's going to have to like, you're going to want to make sure the text of what that episode is about is visible.
I agree.
Okay. And then
I so agree with that. I had to change that up on my channel as well.
Yeah, if you go to my personal brand, you'll see that I'm already doing all this stuff over there.
Yeah.
It's just got to convert it over.
Yeah, I don't know why I'm not doing it here.
Right, it's all right.
I have no excuse.
Which one are you? Is it Stephen Box or is it something else?
If you do Unshakable Habits, Stephen Box.
Yeah, like I don't know what it was. One team where one of their main players got this is football. Was it Green Packers? Whatever. Oh, yeah. And the guy is this YouTuber guy, and he was talking about it, but his thumbnail was like that. And it was just so funny. Just clicked on it. It's like that. Like it's like visual. I agree with the thumbnails.
A couple other little tips here for you real quick on this as well. So
Ooh, nice.
So one thing you also see, you have the same like look for this video that you have for the other one.
Mm-hmm.
So like for the sports side and for this one. For example, if I were doing this one, I would recommend maybe putting the sport coat on and the dress shirt.
Right.
If you're talking about like, building habits, things like that. And then on the sports one, maybe you've got a sports like look that you're going with.
I agree.
I'd probably recommend something like that. And then I'm looking at the same thing here. I mean, you've got like, no views on this, for example. So you are putting your hashtags in. I'd recommend on your hashtags, by the way. And by the way, for those who do live streaming, you can put up to 3 hashtags in your description and they will show up at the top of the video. And so one thing I'd recommend here, Stephen, is like have one branded one and then have something that's a little more generic to get you in, like maybe it's motivation, for example, if that's the game here, for example, or confidence or something like that. Putting in a generic hashtag so that you can get that video inserted into larger videos, or sorry, into larger topics that people are searching for. And then the other thing, same thing I'm noticing here, like no tags, for example. And then mindset mistake, like for example, what's your is mindset mistake the topic you're going to be targeting? If not, we need to just be more descriptive there. And then the same thing here, like adding something that's a lot more, like giving some more description about what this episode is about. Looks like there's a lot of links to a lot of stuff, like podcasting, things like that. But yet there's not a whole lot here about like mindset, I think. Does this make sense?
Yeah. And that one is actually, it's a series. So if someone watched video 1, video 1 actually talks about how you have to have the right mindset. And then video 2 is, are you making this mindset mistake? So if they watch video 1, then the title for video 2 would actually make more sense than if somebody just came to video 2. So it's meant to be as a series.
Okay. So one other thing I would add to that is if you're making a series of live streams, just make sure that you are like, for example, if somebody if I came to this because YouTube recommended it to me, you want to make sure that you have something at the beginning of that video that tells me, hey guys, this is part of it. I haven't watched it. Maybe it's in there. But if there is a part 1, you want to mention that and say like, hey, if you're just tuning into this video, don't forget there is a part 1. We put a link to that in the description below, or we put it in the top corner, whatever corner you want to point to, and put that into the video. At that point, I would probably put it in the description if it were me.
Okay.
So, does that work?
Yeah. Yeah. And that one's only 4 days old. So I'm not overly concerned about the fact that I haven't reviews on there just yet, but
no worries.
Definitely take those into account.
It's something that, here's the thing, you've got to put all the pieces together.
Right.
So, i.e. thumbnail needs to be very descriptive about what that episode is about. So set up a design, like Canva, Easel, any of those tools, set up a design, change out your topic, maybe change out your picture every so often. And then you have a system that you work on every time you're going to do a live show, whether it's the sports one or your unshakable habits. So that's that. Second thing would be every video, whenever you schedule it to go to YouTube Live, for example, go in and put the tags, whether it's your brand, your name, what the topic is about, create a mix of that, and then put in a title and description that all correlate to that.
Mm-hmm.
Every single time. It sounds like it's a lot of extra work, but that will definitely help you bring in some views, and you're going to be able to, then you can tweak them and see what's going to work, what's not going to work. But I think that can help you get more views on each of those different videos.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
Okay.
So one final thing for you, just as somewhat of a feature request, because I know you guys were asking with hotkeys and stuff, what people might be looking for.
Yeah.
So we have like the really nice graphics for the sports show.
Uh-huh.
And let's say if I wanted to bring someone on live, well, now we have a third person.
Okay.
So now I have to create an entirely different layout for that. And if I'm switching between the 2-person and the 3-person view, there's going to be that second of switch where it's going to be ugly because it's not going to be a smooth transition between the two. So there was a way to automatically say, this is the background I want for 3 people. This is the background I want for 2 people, which I know the Stream Deck would allow me to do that because then I can have 2 things happen at once.
Mm-hmm.
But even without the Stream Deck, if it was just a feature, that's how I would imagine using it personally.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, let me just make a note. So basically, if you bring a two person shot with a two camera overlay, same for a 3-person, etc. Right?
Yeah, and then you just automatically be able to switch the backgrounds and everything when you switch the camera views.
Basically, so they move together.
Yeah,
or in sequence. Okay, cool. Very easy. If you have any other questions, again, feel free to reach out. You can join our Facebook group, facebook.com/groups/StreamYard. Let me get the link, /StreamYard community. Feel free to join that, or you can always direct message me. So
I appreciate it. Our production meeting this week will be very interesting.
Awesome. Yep, definitely.
Yes.
Thanks for joining us. We really appreciate it.
Time to pivot.
Thank you.
Yes. All right.
Okay, so let me see if we missed any comments, by the way. And by the way, if you're finding these if you're finding these sessions helpful, do us a favor, hit the like button and make sure to subscribe to the channel, and also let us know in the comments. If you like what we're doing, if you're like, you know what, hey, we want to see more of this, less of this, and so forth. We really want to hear.
Sorry,
so
I typed that mistake.
Let's see what else we got.
This is a question that came up by Jewel. She was asking about the admin access. I know that is in the works. Think in the summertime.
I think are you asking about the StreamYard Teams feature? I think that's what you're asking about. So yeah, so we do have StreamYard Teams coming out in the summer. I think that's what you're looking for. Or are you asking specifically for YouTube? I think it's just for StreamYard though. If it's just StreamYard, we've got the Teams feature coming out over the summer here.
Right.
What else do we have? Let's see. I'm going to bring up Square Table Degenerates podcast. What Steve's talking about is why I don't do just sports talk. It instantly eliminates 80% of the audience. If you do general sports chat, you have to be a good personality. Yeah. So 100% agree with that. You either have to be a good personality or you have to have other people as well that are working. Like you might have for example, let's say you have a generic or general sports talk show. You may want to have an expert or co-host that one person covers baseball, one covers football, basketball, soccer, tennis, whatever. So you could break it up that way as well. Or you could have one person as the host and everyone else maybe underneath that takes, a particular sport, for example, that they're able to cover. Okay. Let's see. Another recommendation, by the way, if Steve's still watching, John's recommending try adding a Facebook page, or I can't tell if you Facebook group or page. Use it to keep your fan base updated during the week. That is another option. You could set up a Facebook group, and you could tie that to your Facebook page, and that group could be about all the stuff that's going on, and then you could cover one or two of the main topics on your show.
Right. Or ask them also, sometimes before I do my show, I'll say, hey, what you guys want me to talk about today? Or what do you want me to talk about regarding this subject matter or this thing that just came out on the news, to get their cued into it. Yeah.
Jennifer is asking, first time here, would love to have our show reviewed. This is great. When's the YouTube channel reviews? Okay. So the live stream reviews, you can join that one. I did drop a link to the invite link to join us on screen. And then Leticia, when is the YouTube channel reviews?
It's going to be on Saturday, June 12th. That's when the YouTube channel reviews is going to happen.
Yeah. So that, and that's a once
same
a month
time
thing they do. Yeah. Let's see. Another couple other tips real quick for Steven. They got to find other people that are dying to talk about sports. Yeah.
Yes.
So,
yes.
Yeah. What is this one we've done? Did you put this one up, Leticia?
No. Oh, I'm sorry. I tapped it by mistake.
Oh, sorry.
It's my nails.
Hold on. We've done 42 live interview sessions. Most of the time, my streams didn't go smoothly. The software is asking for a strong internet. My guests had terrible times and disruptions. So in terms of your internet, the things I'd recommend, those are you definitely need to, we always recommend you hardwire into your internet. I'm hardwired right now, for example. It's just so that you get a consistent stream. If you're on Wi-Fi's got to go through all different parts of a house, for example, if you're in a house, an apartment. So, that signal's it's not always going to be consistent. And if you have a strong, consistent signal, it's going to always be the same. So there's not going to be those dips that you're going to run into. And the other thing is, like, our software is cloud-based. So we actually handle most of that. So you do have to bring, a pretty good, a decent computer, but you don't need like a gaming laptop necessarily, but it all helps to make things run smoothly. In terms of panning and zooming and things like that, that's actually all controlled by your camera for the most part. So your camera may have those options on it. Some of them, for example, if you're using like a webcam, you may have to use the software that's built into the webcam to be able to get some of that stuff to work. Yeah. So let's see. Okay, let's go bring some other guests on, Leticia.
Yeah. So Tim is up next. Tim, you ready? Thumbs up.
Okay. Very cool.
Okay,
So,
I think
Tim,
he's ready.
Thanks for joining us, Tim.
Oh man, I feel like I'm on the Tonight Show. Are you kidding me? This is fantastic. I'm waiting for the live studio audience. You guys are you guys are great. You guys are great. I just want to, I have a couple questions, but I want to tell you something. I'm an old dog, and let me say that StreamYard is so easy to use for me.
Yes, it is.
Again, I'm not of this generation,
Yeah.
I mean, I never learned how to go and program my VCR, never mind trying to get any of this other stuff in.
VCR, what's that?
Yeah, exactly. This is exactly it. And I was on terrestrial radio for a number of years, and then we went into internet radio because it was, be honest with you, it was quite cheaper. And I was able to get a larger group in. And what I've noticed, and I stopped it for a number of years. I ended it for a number of years. And now that I'm retired, I jumped back into the pool. And we did it basically because of COVID. There was a bunch of us that got together that I speak at conferences and kind of consult for some TV networks and stuff. And we decided that we would do something to give back to the communities that have supported us in the past. And when I started looking around, you guys were highly recommended. And I was kind of like, I don't know if I want to play around with this yet. And boy, I'll tell you what, thank you so much. I went from having an entire audio studio in my old house. We just moved last year, 2 days before the world shut down.
Yeah.
And I'm down now to basically, when I am working, a webcam and a Yeti microphone and my laptop. And it is so refreshing to do that and to understand it. So I can't thank StreamYard and all you guys enough. And Christian, you've been so great to me, answering so many of my questions. I mean, really.
Anytime.
Well, I appreciate it. Here's my question. Now, I'm used to a basic radio podcast format. Intro, middle, outro. Intro is my big thing. It's so overdone, so old. I'm looking for some ideas on how to jazz it up a little bit, because what happens is intro, what you're doing is you're building your viewers or your listeners, whatever your, case may be. And so you don't want to bring your guest on too early, because a lot of the viewers will miss the guest. Because I try to bring in some, people from some authors and some people from network and that sort of thing. And so you want to be able to go and build it up. But the chit chat really gets long and drawn out. And I hate being able to go and have to do my own self promotion or, hey, what's going on? And this is what I'm doing in my life, blah, blah, blah. Do you guys have any kind of insight or suggestions on how I could kind of jazz that up a little bit, where I don't have to go and just have that kind of interplay? Because I've been doing it for years. I know all these other people have been doing it for years. It's the same thing across the board.
Very good questions, actually. Leticia, do you want to take this one?
Break it down again. So you're saying that you mean the chatter that goes in between you and the guest, or are you talking about what goes on in the intro?
What goes on in the intro, pre-guest, because it takes me roughly 5 to 10 minutes to build an audience, because that's when, even though people know I'm on at 7 p.m., I'll just go 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time here. But it takes that long for people to actually, remember and associate and log on and everything. And it's just like, I'm so tired of me saying, well, you know what? I'm going to be appearing here next week, or I'm going to be, we're talking about, this is what I did last week, or, what I did during the week. Is there something else that I could maybe, put in there instead of that?
Well, definitely you could do one or two things. Like intros are really good at getting your audience hyped up because you're not just thinking about the people who are going to watch live. You're also going to be thinking about the people who are going to be tuning in on the replay. So, for example, Michael Daniels, who is in the comments there, his intro is actually giving his audience instructions on what to do. Subscribe here, hit the button here, hit like, and like sort of like instructing them on what to do before the show actually starts up. My intro is more of like a hype video, like getting you excited, getting you hyped up for the show. So you could do one or two of those things, but just try to keep it simple and not have it so long. Because I've seen some intros that are like 5 minutes long, and to be quite honest, when I'm watching the replay and it's 5 minutes long, I always end up clicking off and watching something else. I just want to see the content, even though I could fast forward, but still. So yeah, think of it like, what's your overall intentions of the intro? What is the goal of the intro? Is the goal to get the viewers to actually do something while you're setting up for the show, or is it for it to get them like hyped and excited about the show? And you can do both, in one intro.
Basically what it is for me is to go and it's a time filler. First of all, I do early. So a lot of people are, finishing dinner or whatever.
Right.
So that's my biggest hurdle is just that first, I would say 5 minutes where I can go from 10 viewers to 50 viewers, so I can push that a little bit more. So I'm going to go and I'll do some more hype on there. And my whole thing is I want less of me on there and more of the guest and more of the topic we're talking about.
Right. But then that would allow you to make a lot of intros too at the same time. So that can get a little bit, if you're going to have different guests on the show, you're going to have to make a different intro every single week.
Well, that's all part of the game. That's right up there with doing, an author sends me a book to read. That's my responsibility to read that book, because every question, of course, in every interview, you guys know yourself, for every question that you ask, you really should have the answer already. You should know it already, because this way it can lead into wherever your guest is going. Because that's so important. So I don't mind doing that. The question came up earlier, which I think is brilliant, is to start doing smaller segments. Now my show is an hour, but during the week, do you guys think it's a good idea just to do like 10-minute things or 5-minute things, and just to do like a small episodes in order to build into my show?
I think so. Yeah,
I think so too. And also you could take clips like Christian, what was that website you shared last week where we can like cut up our shows? And like I would also do clips, like take the most meatiest part of that show and make that a clip too, and upload that onto your YouTube channel as well. So now you got some shorts there,
That's a good idea. Yeah.
So instead of creating new content, use and leverage the content that you already created and just cut it up and post that,
Yeah.
Yep. And that tool, it's the one we showed last week. It was called Streamable. And
Streamable, yes.
I'll actually go ahead and bring that up right now.
Bring it up. Yes. Where's my pen?
Let's see. So I'm just going to grab an example. I don't know if let me see if this one will actually work. We might even be able to use this one. Let's see.
Oh, cool.
Oh, actually, sorry. It doesn't support the live stream. So let me actually grab our last episode and I'll show you how this works actually. So that'd be one thing I think. The other thing, are there any comments there, Leticia, from anyone that have recommendations?
Yes. NLTMW said, ask the audience to submit questions for your guests during the intro. Engage them. Yes. Especially if they know the guest already. If there's somebody popular or what have you.
I always ask after I create the banner and I put it out there in social media, because basically I'm cheap, and that's the cheapest way to get it out there and the most effective. I always encourage people, hey, send me some questions. I want to be able to go and ask your questions. I can ask 1,001 questions, but I don't know what you know or not about whatever. So that's great.
Yes.
Sorry, by the way. Sorry if there was some noise there.
No, I didn't hear nothing.
Okay, so let me go ahead and bring this up actually here. So this is streamable. So basically, if you go to streamable.com, basically what I've done here is I've taken the URL from our last episode. Okay. And so what I can do now is, like, let's say I want to create a clip. Like, let's just say I want to, like, let's say I identify that this is the part, for example. So I can easily just do this clip.
Mm-hmm.
And then if I create video here, it's going to just give me, let's just make it shorter just so you guys can see this. Let's make it like, let's say this is the clip. So if this was the clip, it literally would just play through once I create the video. And then that would be something that I could share out on social media. It's just that little tiny portion of the video. So that might be something worth checking out, Tim.
I definitely will. Yeah, that's a great idea. That would actually really be a great PR tool that would not cost anything, and it would be a great filler and be able to do that. Because now what I'm doing now is for a 7 o'clock show, I'm doing a Facebook Live for about 5 or 10 minutes at 4 o'clock to hype the show up. Also, of course, I usually I'm starting to hype the Tuesday show up on Saturday night. So this way, people get a good chance to be, to really understand who's going to be there and what's going to go on. And listen, I'm not going to take a lot of your time anymore, but I got to tell you, this is the way this works. I can't thank you enough, because I just got a invitation to speak at a virtual conference because of StreamYard. Because people went and have seen me do my show, and they were like, wow, maybe you would like to come and do this. I also got a possibility. I got a little breadcrumb that came in today to speak at a conference in Las Vegas in December. Nice. So that again is coming in from StreamYard, from the work that I'm doing. And what I love about StreamYard now is the fact that people worry about numbers. And what I've done is since I've retired from my real job out there in the real world, I'm not doing numbers anymore. When I was on terrestrial radio and that, you have to worry about numbers. Yeah. What I'm doing now is not worrying about numbers, but I'm worrying about networking. And what's happening is that people are seeing me do this on StreamYard.
Yeah. I
get invitations to conferences. Because of the invitation to conferences, I've been able to go and consult on network TV. And the latest thing I've done was Portals to Hell, which is seen on Discovery Plus. And it was a thing that, a cameo that I did for them. Here's the thing. This is how people, this is how you grow. And through the networking, through the handshaking, through, the associations, the sky is the limit. And StreamYard is definitely my tool to be able to get out there in the world, to be able to go and, share my books and get on TV and get a chance to go and meet people I would never have usually met, or go to places that I've never been to. Yeah. So thank you guys so much. And your tech services are phenomenal. Awesome. And I can't thank you guys enough for it. And I just, again, you got a big fan here. I just love it. And we also did a cooking show, paranormal cooking show, believe it or not.
Wow.
And we experimented. We had the 2 cameras going, one above and one on us. I used to volunteer at a little public access TV show or TV station. Yeah. And we had 3 floor cameras and 7 robo cameras. What we were able to do with StreamYard with 2 cameras equals everything that we were able to do in a semi-professional situation. So thank you guys so much, and love you guys.
Cool. By the way, do me a favor. I love hearing this. So do me a favor. Can you shoot me an email? Just do marketing@streamyard.com. Just reference live stream reviews. Send me a link to your channel. Tell me a little bit more about the engagements you've also booked as well. Those sound fantastic. And then we're getting tons of comments from people wanting to know what your channel is and whatnot. So if you have that, just drop it in the comments. We'd love to.
Basically, right now I'm updating my. I'm creating a new YouTube channel.
Cool. Okay.
Just because again this was just going to be 3 months. That's all we were going to do the show for, and it's gone well over a year now. And so now it's time. I'm going to update it, get it a little bit more professional. But if anybody wants to see, what the show is or who I am, it's www.timothytshaw.com. And the show is called The Black Cat Lounge. It's heard Tuesday nights, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And we have paranormal and metaphysical content. And, we just enjoy it. And we're doing this, and I'm highlighting people, not just network people, but people who really enjoy what they're doing and sharing it out there with the public. So that's what we're doing.
Very cool. By the way, do me a favor. There's lots of really good comments and questions and whatnot in the
they're congratulating you.
Do me a favor. Go and just respond to those. We'd love that. So
thank you guys again. Thank you guys. I can't thank you guys enough for this fantastic fantastic stuff. And again, if I can figure this out, anybody can figure this out because
right.
I am tech challenged, man. So this is great. Thank you so much.
Fantastic. Anytime. Thanks so much for joining us. We really appreciate it.
Ciao, babies. Thank you.
Thank you for coming.
This is awesome. I love hearing this, just hearing from just all of our users. I mean, this is awesome hearing from Tim here. So let me actually, I got a couple comments real quick. I want to address Leticia, and then we're going to bring on our next guest. Okay.
Yes.
So the question, one says, let's see. So someone's asking, Najmi was asking, how can I show the comment on the screen? So that's all done from your StreamYard dashboard. So if you log into your StreamYard broadcast, do you want me to demo that real quick, Leticia?
Yeah, go ahead. So they can see it. Yeah.
Okay,
sometimes people see it in front of them, but they're like, oh, shoot, I didn't know that button was for that.
Let me bring in a test broadcast so you all can see this. Okay, so for example, and here I'll go back one more screen. Okay, so here I am. I'm in my StreamYard dashboard. It's going to look something like this. And then let's say I want to go and show, let's say I'm in this broadcast, so this test broadcast. I'm going to enter the studio. Sounds like we got a visitor. And then, so once I get into the studio, I'm going to go. So if I want to display any comments, so let's just say I had all these destinations selected, like Facebook, LinkedIn, and YouTube, for example. The comments would all show here based off of the destinations I have connected. So then if I want to display them on screen, I just click show to show them on screen. And then if I want to take them off, I can hide them that way. And so those would come in live as you're broadcasting your live stream. So I hope that helps answer your question, Najmi. If not, let us know. And then one other question we had from Jenny Angel here was asking, is Streamable part of the StreamYard subscription? So Streamable is it's a product that's owned by our parent company, Hopin. There's a free option and there's a paid option. So the free option, let me see if I can get the pricing here. And by the way, it's more than just, so there's a free option. It gives you 90 days of video retention, ad supported playback. There's megabyte and time limits. And then obviously you get HD video. Versus if you want the 4K version, it looks like it's $8 a month. There's cloud storage, and then there's no limit on video size or length, and much more. So that's what Streamable can do for you. So you literally can just put in a video URL or upload a file, and then it'll allow it to. You can easily just go through and create the clips off of it if you want to. Okay. One, Milda, I will get to your question about the giveaway here shortly. We're gonna go. Who's next, Leticia?
Dave Cooper .live is next. The man.
What's his question? Does he have a question?
Yes, we're gonna bring him up right now.
Cool. Okay, let's do it. Hey, Dave, how you doing?
Hey.
Or you're muted.
Oh, we can't hear you.
No audio.
Is he in an RV? So cool. Oh my god.
Now?
Yes.
All right, perfect.
No worries.
Yeah, I'm in the RV. I'm on the side of the road. We have a live road show, so we've been traveling the country, and this is the first day I've caught your show.
Awesome.
And I'll tell you what, I absolutely love it. Tim Shaw, you're the man. I appreciate what you had to say. But I could have a million questions. I've been using StreamYard for about a year and a half now. When COVID hit, We decided to go live 6 days a week, interviewing people from around the world in the construction space. So I have been using your platform 6 days a week now.
Cool.
And I love it. So with that said, we're down to 4 days a week now. My question is this: with StreamYard, there's two things that we're looking for. One is, how do you find somebody that can help you produce your live shows? Because we're getting to the point where we have sponsors. We stream into 50 universities across the country as part of their classroom work now, which is really cool. So I'm really looking for that extra help. Somebody that, if there's people out there that can do that type of work, is my first question. And then my second question would be with YouTube and others. We're at a little over 800 subscribers on YouTube. LinkedIn is our platform that we do mainly. But the thing I have a question on is, when you go through a third-party platform such as a StreamYard versus live streaming straight through the platforms directly, does that hurt the algorithm? Does that hurt YouTube or LinkedIn or Twitch or any of the others, Facebook, from putting out your broadcast?
So let's take a couple of questions here, and I'll have you. Let me see. There we go. Okay. Sorry, I was hearing myself twice. Okay, so first question, first part of that, I would say from a producer standpoint, do me a favor, send me a private message. And I can make some recommendations for you on producers, because we do have some people that we work with, so I can recommend that. In terms of the algorithm, so here's the thing. I don't think there's no like actual documentation that, using a third-party tool that Facebook, YouTube, et cetera, don't like that. Obviously, they do want you to use their platform, but then you also obviously know that Facebook, for example, is very limited in terms of the features that they offer you. So they make, they make it clunky, or they don't, for example, they make it hard to bring on guests. You can't really do that.
Yeah.
So, so I don't, and then you can't multi-stream as well. So they do they force you into their sandbox.
Sure.
So, it's a combination of like, well, you either get features or you get a little bit better reach or things like that. One question I did have for you, by the way, you mentioned LinkedIn. And you said that was where you mentioned construction and LinkedIn.
Yeah.
So are you interviewing construction workers, or who are you? What type of person you interviewing?
Yeah. So interesting enough. So it's people that are doing it better, right? Construction is the only industry that has not changed in over 100 years. I always say Tesla should be charging our houses, not our houses charging Tesla. It makes no sense, right? The way we're doing it. But what's happening is we don't have young people coming into the industry. We're short on labor. We're short on skilled trades. And with that, what's happening is you're seeing offsite construction starting to happen. And what does that mean? I'm sitting in Idaho right now outside of a manufacturer. It's a fully robotic house building manufacturer. Now, we're not talking, cheap homes. I mean, these are solid. They can be put into, 20-story buildings. And so we're traveling the country right now on our road show in conjunction with the student chapter of the National Association of Home Builders, live streaming this information into the students at trade schools, high schools, and colleges. But yeah, we're interviewing all the people that are doing it better with technology, digital twins, as we call it, like BIM and 3D. And I'm probably one of the only construction guys that actually decided to go to Twitch. That's where the young people are, the smart ones, right? Playing their games in VR and AR. So at least that's my thought on it. So we're having a lot of fun doing it.
Cool.
I get what you're saying about that. Yeah. About the whole construction thing. I used to work for a nonprofit, and we did high-rise buildings here in the city, and we would do what you mentioned. We would hire a company that would build the units on their site and then ship the units over to. It's quite amazing to see them stack like a Lego, but I understand that's a huge hardship for construction jobs because everything's remote. It's like outsourcing an apartment to be built.
It is. You know who the best who the best offsite construction people in the world are? Take a guess. NASA, right? If anybody's out there ever built something, right? And on the plans, if you ever saw a set of blueprints, it always says field verify, right? Could you imagine if the astronauts went to the space shuttle and on their plans it said field verify? It doesn't make sense. The technology is there for us to be better and do it better. And so many people sick. Homes are making people sick. It's not headaches and allergies. A lot of people don't realize it's their houses. So it's cool.
Yeah.
And so I hope those answer your questions. You have any other questions on that, or?
You know, listen, I could go on and on with comments and questions. I did have a couple just comments on some of the previous guests and what have you. If I have a second. So, you know, Tim was talking about intros. You know, one of the things that I found, especially with LinkedIn, some of the platforms make it very hard for people to find you or have a link unless you set up events. We found that longer intros allow people more time to actually figure out where the heck they connect with us. So that was one of our lessons learned. And we go 4 minutes. I was thinking of doubling that and starting with just a card saying, hey, we'll be starting shortly. So that's been our experience. Also, for the young man that was on talking about the sports earlier, the interviews, we do a lot of interviews, and it's funny. Sometimes you get chirps out there and like nobody's listening, but other times we'll have 200-300 people attending our show. And a lot of times it depends on the topic and who's on the show.
Right.
Some people are more interesting than others. So I always say to people out there, if you can get people on your show that can pull, you know, that have an audience out there, it really helps bring up the numbers and what you're doing. So, and consistency, the number one thing we get, especially after 6 days for a year, and now we're down to 4 days, is it's the consistent people actually put it on their calendar. It scares the daylights out of me sometimes because I wonder if they have anything else to do. You know, why you listening to me? But consistency is a big deal. So I appreciate y'all having me on.
Anytime.
And what is your channel? What is your channel? Because people are asking for your channel.
Yeah, it's davecooper.live. And we're, I think, about 130 or something short of 1,000 subscribers on YouTube. That's been a big push for us, and that's why my question. It wasn't where we started because LinkedIn, we were more B2B. But yeah, please subscribe. But davecooper.live on all the channels.
And let me pull up your channel just so everybody can see this. And by the way, just a couple of real quick pieces of advice on this. So we do live stream reviews, like we help answer your questions or check out your live side. And then there's also a once a month YouTube channel review section as well. So that way, if you have, like, if you want them to review your YouTube channel, you can actually join us join Daniel and Dee. They'll do a review of that on Saturdays, same exact time. It's just once a month.
I put it on the calendar already.
Cool. So go check out. And I will say, I mean, just looking at like your video here, I mean,
I like his channel.
Like, you've got good, quick pacing. I see here. I mean, so, you know, I like what you're doing here. I mean, I'm seeing this.
Yeah, me too.
I'm watching one video and I already feel like I want to sit down and watch this.
Me too.
Yeah. Well, you know,
I want to get an RV now.
You know what? I got a permanent bald spot on my head from scratching my head with this thing. This is more effort than any house ever. There's so many fuses and moving parts. It seems like every day I'm spending at least 2 hours. Like, God, what is going on now? But we're doing it. We got our
don't overthink it.
And you're doing a good job. I also will say your thumbnails, I mean, you're doing here. I mean, you're talking about you're at least putting the words on there that this would be about. So that's good. Very good stuff.
And I like the softness in the color of his thumbnails. It's not like bright green, bright blue, bright red. It's like soft.
Right.
Yes.
Right.
And you're also putting in tags, also very useful. So
yeah, we're trying hard to pull it all together. And in fact, I don't know, again, I'll ask another question. We're looking for, you know, more video editors, people that can help us out, because on this live on location, we're doing recorded videos as well. And we really need people that can up our game, because the videos are good, but I think we can get much better. Yeah. Yeah. If you like teaching the young people and having fun doing it, you know, this is the place for you, because they're our future. You know, us old guys, right? I'm with you. I'm gray here. I just keep it shorter. But if we can figure it out, they can run circles around us.
Yes.
Very cool.
That's
nice
true.
job on your channel. And hopefully our recommendations
Congratulations.
help you. And, good luck on getting to 1,000. You're doing a really good job. And feel free to join us for another one of these episodes. If you have other questions or you want to just pop in and provide some advice. So
yeah, really I'm a fan. You'll definitely see me pop up in the chats here and again. So I appreciate everything y'all are doing. Great. Thank you.
Cool. Thank you very much.
Yes.
All right.
Thank you. And I just subscribed.
Very cool. So Chris Jensen saying, oh, slept in and thought he missed this. Nope, didn't miss us this week. Not at all.
Didn't miss a beat.
This is very cool. Yeah. And
NLT said 825 and growing. Woo-hoo.
Yeah, and Adam's
That's great
exploits.
tip.
90% of my views during my live stream. How do you promote your shows? Yeah, good question. Promoting your show is key. You can't just go live. You do need to make sure you are promoting and telling people about it. So
That's right.
otherwise, again, don't be afraid to like talk about yourself, to talk about like what you do, what your show is about. For example, let your passion and your energy shine through. So let's see if we have any other questions. Dave, by
And
the way, there's
actually
a couple
go,
of good,
researching other people who do similar shows to you. And that way, when you're talking about your show, you can then say, well, I know on average, people who talk about this topic, they dive into this, but on this show, this is what we talk about.
Definitely. Yeah, no, these are lots of really good tips and information being shared. Okay, let's see. So do we have anybody else that wants to come on, Leticia?
Nope.
Flash in your pan, by the way, it's Dave Cooper live. So
Dave Cooper live.
Even search Dave Cooper. Here, I'll just actually
.live. Yeah. And right when you go on his site is a tap subscribe on YouTube. Just click it, it'll take you straight to his YouTube channel.
Actually, I'll put a link to his channel here. So if you want to just check out his link, if you actually want to go subscribe, you can actually just go. I think you can go to this link. Actually, try this.
He said, "Oops, not Joe."
Try that. That should actually get you right to his channel. That'll actually get you a subscribe option as well. If you're interested in checking out his channel and learning more about it. Very cool. Okay.
Very cool.
Let's see if there's anything else. I don't have anything else, actually. What I do have, though, is we want to do a giveaway, actually, right, Leticia?
Yay! Yes, we're going to be giving away a pillow.
Actually, let me see something. Walter. Okay, so sorry, I had people message me about they had additional questions and they had to drop for some things. So we're gonna do a pillow. Put hashtag love. If you want to win this, put hashtag love StreamYard in the chat. I'm gonna start the giveaway tool actually. And so one thing I want to do, by the way, real quick. So we do these giveaways, and there was a question earlier, and it was how do we do these giveaways? And I'll show you how this works.
Yes.
So I'm gonna just open up a second giveaway window. So first off, you just simply go to StreamYard.com/giveaway. That's the first thing. Well, sorry. First thing is everyone who is a StreamYard user actually gets access to the giveaway tool. So just go to StreamYard.com/giveaway. It's going to look something like this. And actually, let me show you the other one. Let me show you the right one, actually. So it's going to look like, I think this. Yep, there we go. Okay. So this is the giveaway tool. Looks just like this. StreamYard.com/giveaway. And then if you're in here, so for example, if you're like, hey, how do I use this? There is a tutorial. So you just click this watch tutorial button. But basically any broadcast you have, you simply just select the one. In this case, let's say we want to do it for the Ask StreamYard episode that's coming up next week. We would put in text, and this could be a hashtag. It could be a keyword. You put that in and then start collecting your responses. And then what's going to happen is you're going to see this. This is the live one, by the way.
Yeah.
Let me show you that one. Sorry, I had two giveaway windows open. It's going to look just like this. And you're going to see all the entries of all the people that are entering. Very cool, right? And so, so simply just go there, put in your, you'll start your giveaway. And then as people are entering, as you can see, the entries can go up. So for example, just put in hashtag love StreamYard. This should change while I do this.
This is so cool.
There you go.
Yes,
so
24.
Now,
keep putting it in, guys. And you only have to put it in once, guys. You don't have to keep putting it. Hashtag love StreamYard.
Put it in once, and then what's going to happen? So when you put the hashtag in, for example, if you're somebody who's not authenticated with like the Facebook group and you're trying to enter the giveaway, you're not going to get counted because you're not a user. So you need to go to StreamYard.com/Facebook and authenticate. But if you want to access the giveaway tool here, this is the tool. And then when we're ready to pull, we just will simply pull the winner. So let's give it another 20 seconds, Leticia.
Yeah, Square Table said that this. Can I bring up the comment or no? Why it's up?
Yeah, sure. Yeah.
Oh, I can? Okay, great. Square Tool says this tool is way better than any other giveaway tool out there. Awesome.
Yes, because here's the thing. The way we used to run these, we'd use like Wheel of Names, and
Yep.
you know, the challenge there was if you're trying to do a live giveaway, if you have 50, 100 people entering, you have to enter all those
Oh,
names.
it's so annoying.
There's some that they only work with YouTube. For example, ours work with anyone pretty much who's entering the destinations.
Right.
You know, again, only thing you have to do is just authenticate with Facebook if you're, for example, on Facebook. So yeah, so the great thing is you just literally go to StreamYard.com/giveaway. And then the benefit there is you'll be able to then enter the giveaway. So
Yeah,
that's how it works. Yeah.
Michael's funny. He said he won his own giveaway last night. That happened to me once. Was going back to me twice. I had to keep hitting the button.
So let's do this. Let me know when you're ready and we'll pull the winner.
Okay, gonna wait like 5 more seconds, y'all. Put in hashtag love StreamYard, and we got 31 entries. Yes, never know when to put in the code while they're talking. Oh, okay, yeah. Okay. John said he needs to put pillow for puddles. He just went live the other day and showed how he got puddles in the mail. And we love that, guys. When you guys go live and you do an unboxing of the StreamYard merch, I always like to watch those.
And make sure you put in by the way, if you do get some nice merch, do us a favor, go to put in the hashtag love StreamYard, and that will actually it'll help us see what people are like, you know, who got merch, what they got, you know, let us see how you're displaying it, all that other fun stuff.
Right.
So, cool.
And one last question from Philippines. He said, should I stream on YouTube and Facebook at the same time? If that's where your audience is, absolutely. All right, we're ready. We're ready, Christian.
Yeah, and it won't hurt. Like if you multi-stream there, for example, remember you can always start in 2 places and then shut one of them off. Some people will start going to Facebook and YouTube, and then they'll say, you know what, 20 minutes in, they might say, hey guys, we're going to continue over on YouTube, and they'll actually remove the destination. You can do that in your broadcast. You just simply edit the destination. So
that's a good point, Christian.
Mikkel, I'll try to take your question here. If you join backstage, Mikkel, I can take your question afterwards if you have a question. So I just dropped that in. Okay, so let's do this. Let's pull the giveaway winner, and let's see who's going to win. So very simple. Just by the way, whoever wins, all you need to do is go to send us an email to marketing@streamyard.com. Mikey, how am I saying this, Leticia?
Mikey
Lito Live.
Mikey Lito Live.
Yeah, do us a favor. Mikey, do me a favor and send us a message to marketing@streamyard.com.
I think this is him here. Is it? Is it Mikey Lito?
Yes,
I think so. Yes. Congratulations. Yes. Get a pillow. Awesome.
Very cool. Okay, so do we have time for one last question, Leticia, or no?
Yes, we have time for.
Oh my gosh, we got a lot of people actually that popped in. You let me know if we have.
Okay, you want to bring Mikkel on?
Yeah, sure. Go ahead. Yeah.
Okay, we got to take off the giveaway.
There we go.
Awesome. You ready, Mikkel? I hope I'm saying this name right.
Mikkel. I think he came on before, actually.
Yes, he looks familiar. Let's bring him up. Yes, I remember.
Hey,
I remember you.
Hey, how we doing?
Yeah, I'm doing great. How are you?
Good.
Great.
Love StreamYard. Thanks for having me on the show. The first time I was on the show, I was by accident. I was at work and I saw the button I hit, but when I heard, hey, we're bringing Mikkel on, I had to run to the kitchen to hop on. So that was pretty cool. And my co-worker, what are you doing? I'm like, I'm on live with StreamYard. And she was like, how are you on live? I'm like, I don't know, but here we go. But I got a couple questions here. So when you said you said you had a license for music.
Yes.
How, like that, any music, and how did you get that?
So
great question.
Great question. Yes. I purchased mine from like I bought an Epidemic Sound license. Now, it only gives me access to whatever music they have in their library, which is actually quite a lot of music. It's not going to be like popular music, that kind of thing. So,
Right.
by the way, we do have a StreamYard blog post actually on that tool and a whole bunch of other ones for music. I don't know if you happen to have checked that out.
No, I haven't.
Okay, I'll drop a link to that. Let me see. Because there's like literally there's like 20 plus places. They're free and paid places. So I'll just drop it in the comments right now, actually. Yeah, so for example, for something like that, I go there and then like I use that tool. There are tons of other ones out there. So like if you're like the music there isn't what I want, then I may want to go somewhere else. But that's
and what is it called again? What's Christian?
Epidemic Sound.
Yeah. Epidemic Sound. Okay. Epidemic Sound.
There you go. I just dropped it. I just dropped the whole link to the blog post because it's featured there as well, I think.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, guys, go check that out.
So
yeah. Okay, go ahead.
I was gonna say that's where I would start at, to figure out, okay, well, what's my budget for music, and then make sure, because the good thing is that neither of the sites are going to have this, to my knowledge, they're not going to be the same music. It's kind of like going to buy stock photography for something. Somebody goes to buy stock photography. What they'll sometimes do is they'll go buy stock photography, and it'll be the same across like 5 different websites. The music side doesn't work that way. So the music side, it looks like they're all unique or fairly unique. So yeah.
Okay. Your 2 quick questions. Your ear headphones are like earbuds. Where did you get those from? Because I've had issues with I use Yeti. I've plugged it in my computer.
Yeah.
But I've had interference issues, the big thing with my broadcast. So you're saying I've watched 2 or 3, and you really big into having an earbud or earpiece.
Yep.
Or headphones.
Yes.
And where are those from? Where can I get those?
So
I got these from Walgreens. They're TCLs.
Okay.
And then I got mine at Guitar Center. So I went to Guitar Center only because these are then more for like musicians and things like that.
Right.
So they're similar in the fact that they're headphones, but then some of them have certain drivers in them. For example, the ones I have, these have no mic on them. So for example, and the reason is because I'm just using them as headphones.
Right. I like Christians actually.
These are in-ear monitors.
Right.
Okay. So I can hear everything that's going on with my guests and everything. Yep. But I have a big head. So anything I need to add to make it look bigger than it is, I don't want to use it.
Nope. Super low profile. I mean, they go.
Yeah, because I have the power, the Beats by Dre.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
But, and I haven't tried to use them because I've been using the Yeti or what you said earlier, the speaker from my laptop, which hasn't been the best. So that's what I'm trying to upgrade to this.
And these are I think these were like $60, $70, something along those lines.
That's not bad.
But that's all I use them for is live stream. I don't use them for anything else. They don't even leave my office.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like
that's it.
And they're hardwired.
You should have designated headphones for designated things, especially when you have kids and things get swapped out. And I do like Christians because again, there's no mic to it. For me, this has a mic to it, so I have to keep switching on StreamYard. I don't want it to come off, the sound to come from this mic. I mean, I don't want to use this mic to talk into. I want to use this one. So, I'm definitely going to get the ones Christian got.
So Christian, these that you have, so you use that. I've been watching and listening, and you use a Samsung QTU.
I recommend a Samsung Q2. Yes.
Okay. So I can plug all these into the earpiece will be for monitoring, and the mic is simply both are being plugged into the computer, correct?
Yeah.
Right.
So basically,
which one you have, Christian? Which the one that you have?
So I recommend the Samsung Q2U. I'm using a Shure SM7B. This is a more expensive microphone, but the Samsung Q2, I always recommend that as a good starter mic. And it's because it has 2 things. For starters, it has a USB option. So it'll plug directly in your computer. And on the bottom of the mic, there's a headphone port. So you can plug these directly into it. Okay. So then you got this goes into the mic, into the bottom, and there's a little stand. and then that plugs directly into your computer via USB. Now, if you decide you want to upgrade at some point, it also has what's called XLR. And so XLR is it requires having an audio interface. So you need like a mixer or something like that. And then that would plug into your computer. And that's for like adding multiple channels and things like that, multiple mics. So you have two different options. So I recommend the Samsung Q2U because it's $50 to $70. Like great starter package. And then if you decide you want to upgrade, you can use that mic with a mixer, or you can get an XLR mic. Like this is an XLR microphone.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Now, see, yes, because I think it was last week, y'all were comparing mixers and giving advice about what mixers to use.
We had the battle of the hardwares. That was fun.
I told you, I watch. I love StreamYard. I've been trying to upgrade. I have no problem spending more money for the best system. You know, I don't have a full studio,
right?
But I have no problem spending that money. I like the last gentleman. I do work with kids who work in the drama department at their schools.
Okay. Cool.
But they had to go back to school, but they were helping me run the show. But they also showed me some things.
Yeah.
So between working with the kids and watching your show, it's really helping me make my show better. Now, your lanyard mics, you're welcome. Is that a brand LXR? Because I would like to buy a great lanyard mic.
Like a lavalier mic, you mean?
Oh, I'm sorry, lavalier mic. So the mic, like
I was just saying lanyards. I'm like,
so I recommend. So for something like that, you can get there's a super cheap mic. It's like $15. It's really good. It's a Boya M1. It's literally a lavalier mic with a super long, like I think it's like 18 feet. Like cable, so you can actually hardwire that one in if you want to. The other thing you can also get is, and I really like these. This is a couple $100. So these are the Rode Wireless Go,
right?
And this is basically the way it works is this. So there's a transmitter and a microphone,
right?
So the way these can work, one would clip on you. This could go on your camera, for example, or you plug in your laptop, and now you have a wireless mic system. And then this also has. Cool. Let me find it real quick. There's also a microphone. So the other cool thing about this is it has a port to be able to plug in a lavalier mic. So if you want to get that, like if you want it to be wireless, but still have a mic that's close to you, like you could basically clip this on like this, or let's just clip it right here. And then if I wanted to, I could run an actual hardwired mic from here to right here in front of me, and then I'm still wireless.
Right.
Does that make sense?
Well, you lost me.
Okay. So, so basically, so like here, I'll use this as the example. So let's say this is my lavalier mic. It's not a lavalier mic, but let's say it is. So I have two ways I can use this set of mics. One is completely wireless, meaning this one goes to the computer. This one stays on me. Now, this is a good mic. The only thing is that it does pick up like noise and things like that because it's an open mic at that point, right? So what some people do is they will plug a physical hardwired mic into one of these, and that will get the mic closer to your mouth, things like that. So what you would do is you would clip this onto yourself like so. Then you would hardwire your mic directly in front of you, okay? And then this is the receiver. This is on the computer, the camera, and I'm wireless at that point. But I'm still getting the hardwired mic like this. Does that make sense?
Right.
Yeah, I got you. That makes sense now. Okay. So like Leticia, the mic you have in front of you, where can I get mics like that?
You can inbox me. I got this on Amazon. But it did not come with this arm here. I actually bought the arm separately. I had to get a new USB, right, Christian? I got that from the Guitar Center.
Yeah, you need.
I got the cord. Yeah, it came with a cable, but it wasn't working with my laptop, so I got a different cable for it.
And okay, and I can reach out to you on Instagram, I guess. It's at the real Leticia. Facebook.
Yeah, you can reach me out on Instagram. Yeah, the real Leticia Campbell. Yes.
Okay, so I have a Facebook show. Talking about going continuous. So I have a Facebook show that supports and connects Black-owned businesses, basically in the South, and just connecting people to let them know. And I interview different people from different genres of business, from lawyers, attorneys, marketing, things of that nature. A lot of people are sitting at home, and now this country is kind of opening back up. People are still going to compare, they're like, where can I find a hairdresser? Where can I find a car detailer? Where can I find so-and-so? And then my next wave, I did take a month off because I've had to deal with some stuff, just, some personal matters. But my next wave of shows, I did 5 months. I've been going on since October on Wednesday and Thursdays. My next wave, because I believe in solutions and conversations, is I'm working with the police department to help ease tensions between young individuals, especially just young individuals across the board. Yes, African American males, and we see what happened with that. But like I tell people, this didn't just start with the recent, however you want to tag them, murders, killings, whatever. This has been going on forever. My great grandfather would tell us about stories as him as a child, and my great grandfather was born in 1929. So the things he warned us about when he was a child, the only difference is it's videotaped. It's the only difference. That's it. But I'm about a solution. I have the precinct commanders are going to speak on my show, and I use StreamYard. It can be anywhere in the world, but I focus, what's close to me where I can drive if need be, or when there's a conference, people are comfortable talking to me. So that's what I use StreamYard for, and I bring people on in the North Alabama. I'm from Huntsville, Alabama, but North Alabama, Atlanta,
my brother
and
lives
Tennessee.
in I have relatives in Frisco City, Alabama.
Okay. But I love how StreamYard works. It's really connect a lot of people. And also in the comment section, one thing I love is people will start doing work in commerce being passed back and forth in the comments. There's not this type of digital footprint in this part of Alabama. I mean, we have like a go-to page, but my stuff is interactive. You can talk, we ask questions. I'm about education, solution, and working together. That's what I'm about. So, StreamYard really helped me.
What you have to do now is that you need to capitalize on this, because look at the site called WeBuyBlack.com. Since you are building a network of entrepreneurs, business owners, and things like that, where, like you said, if we're looking for somebody to do invisible knot braids or something like that, we can then go on your site and type in box braids, and then a bunch of Black-owned businesses will come up. So you need to create a directory like that's similar to WeBuyBlack.com, to where it could be, Mikhail.com or whatever you want to call it. And while you're on the show talking about, the police thing and things like that, you could also, cue in that site. So that way people go on there. Because I know you're already doing it on the show, but where do we go to also look those businesses up or research those things? Yeah.
I give the websites because I fund it. So it's not like I don't have any sponsorships or anything like that. Yeah. But I have people come on, and the people who I interview.
That's a way for you to get sponsorships. That's the way for you to get it. So if I'm a Black-owned business, so if I want you to mention me on my show, you could actually charge me a fee for me to be on your site directory to post my logo, my business website, and my bio about my business. So that's another way for you to get sponsorships for the show.
Great. Thank you for the idea. But I appreciate your time. Thank you. I'll reach out to y'all offline. I don't want to take up the time. Just ask some questions. But I wanted to get my information better. I love working with StreamYard, and I love that it was even mentioned to me to use. But it's really helped help me get my face and name out there. Thank you, guys. I appreciate it.
Anytime. Thanks so much.
All right. Bye-bye.
Bye. Awesome. This is so much fun. I gotta say, I mean, I realize we've gone over, Leticia, but this is so much
fun.
I mean,
it's all right. I want to get Charlie.
We got time for one more person, right? So we're gonna bring Charlie.
Yes. I want to run through there was some questions in the comments. So Adam Exploits asks, has anyone used Sweetwater to purchase audio video supplies? It's Sweet? I pronounced it right? Oh, I'm sorry. I said Sweats. Sorry.
Very good company, actually. I use them.
Yes.
Buy a lot of. So I buy from there, or I sometimes will buy like B&H Photos, are really my go-to place. That's a place in New York. You probably know that one, Leticia. B&H Photos.
What's it called?
B&H Photo.
Okay, I'll look it up.
It's in New York. It's a great place. Great products. If you ever have questions on gear as well, they're great for answering questions on that. If people ever have, if you're like, hey, I'm looking to buy a computer for this. I'm looking to buy this kind of product for that. They don't. I will say they don't have. I would say it's not cheap products. So it's like a lot of high end equipment and things like that. So they have,
right.
So they're not like, you're not gonna be like, you go on Amazon, you're gonna get the they're gonna get the knockoff version of something like that. They're gonna have a lot of the well-known brands. So but very good company. What else?
He also mentioned, Christian, have you ever used I cannot pronounce his name, Ceremonic Blink?
That's a good Ceremonic makes an alternative to the Rode Rode Wireless Go. They're a little bit less, I think, in terms of price, but they're very good in terms of what you're going to get. They're not going to be like the best mics, but they're good. They're very good. So I think you can be going with that.
Right. Noella Roman said, "What can I do to avoid noise when I use my computer and also the phone, as I need students to see my hands, but then the mic noise while in the broadcast? Headphones."
Well, I guess the question, is she streaming from a phone or what's she doing? Because if you're streaming from a phone, then your mic is going to probably be open. So I would recommend, as Leticia just said, headphones. If you're streaming from a phone, you're, so, actually, maybe, I think actually what she's saying is, I'm wondering if she's using her computer to stream and her phone is a second angle, maybe camera angle. Because remember,
I see.
you can send the guest link to your phone, open it up, and it becomes a second camera in your streamer dashboard. Right. Now, if that's
which
the case,
is quite cool. Yeah.
What do you need to do? So in order though to fix that, so what you need to do is you can't just turn the volume down on the phone. The phone by default, even though you do that, it does mute it turns the sound down, but it doesn't actually mute the mic. You actually have to plug in a pair of headphones, preferably like something that doesn't have a mic, to trick the phone into turning off the mic. Otherwise, you got two hot.
And you also mentioned that you can like, let's say if you have a cheap set of headphones, plug that in the phone and you could cut the cord, right? And that will work too.
Yep, you could do that too. Yeah.
Awesome.
That's definitely an option. Let me see what else we got here. Hey, Cooper's saying uses the Blink 500 on the road, works great. Yep. So it's a good set of wireless mics if you need those. Let's see.
Oh, thank you, Village.
Was that one? Awesome.
Village Rising Community said, "I've been looking, listening, and taking notes. You two are amazing." I like that. Yeah.
And then we got this comment from Adam as well. Thank you, Adam, by the way. That means a lot, actually. And then in terms of, so there's two Rode Wireless Go's. There's the Rode Wireless Go, which is their like single unit, and then they sell the Rode Wireless Go 2. And actually, that's a very good product because it actually gives you two mics and one receiver. So let's say Leticia and I were in the same place and we both wanted to be like on wireless setup. She would have one mic, I would have another, and then we'd have the receiver, and the receiver is able to receive two channels. And then there's also some really cool things. You can plug that into your computer as well, use it as a mic, and there's even some more really cool hidden things that they do.
Wow. And it comes in white too, right? I think I saw a white color.
There's black, there's white. They even sell like an accessory where, like, if you want a handheld mic, you actually can put the Rode Wireless Go inside the handheld mic, and you now have a wireless mic. It's actually really cool.
Done.
Okay. So
Christian, man, we're gonna be looking fabulous on this streaming, boy, with all the equipment stuff.
Okay, so let's talk. Let's get Charlie on. Let's take our last question.
Let's talk Charlie
today. Yeah.
Yes.
Charlie, how you doing?
Charlie.
Good. Thanks very much, Leticia and Christian. Thanks for having me on.
Welcome back. Welcome back.
Yeah, you're my #1 fan.
Oh,
your studio looks really good, by the way.
Thank you. It's a really simple setup. I've got a ring light, a box light, that way, and a red floodlight in the corner and a blue LED on top of the cabinets.
Yeah.
So pretty simple.
Nice. No, it looks good.
Anyway, my question is, first of all, I've been on YouTube for about 10 years now, and I do a couple of things. One is model railways, and I do a regular once, twice a week, StreamYard presentation on that. But the latest thing is how to restore your Generation 1 Camaro, like 1967 to 69. A friend of mine does this, and either I will work remotely here and he's in his garage at another location, or I go up to his place, depending on the COVID situation. And what I haven't figured out yet is how to get an outro into my broadcast. Someone told me on the chat list that, yeah, you can add it in as an additional video. So I wasn't sure if you could have more than one video in there. Could you explain that?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, you could have multiple video clips in there. Yes, you want to make sure the file size is not so big. I forgot the
I figured that out. 2 megabytes. Yeah,
it's 200. So if it's a video clip, it's 200 megabytes and 10 minutes.
Yeah, that's important, guys. Especially
I had to film it and then check out the size and then edit it and do it again until I eventually come up with the 200 megabytes.
So so one thing here, I'm going to show you here. I'll show you screen share this real quick. So what we're showing, we were demoing this earlier, actually. So in your StreamYard dashboard, you go to the brands tab. So you create your StreamYard broadcast, you go into the broadcast, you go into brands, and then go under video clips.
Yeah.
And then first off, if you hover over the question mark, it'll tell you the size and the length and things like that. And then so basically I have multiple ones here. And so if I want to play this one, for example, I just click on that, or I click on that, and so forth. In terms of getting the size down, so one thing I'd always try to do, I try to be under 200 megabytes.
Yeah.
And the reason I would try to be under 200 megabytes is because oftentimes when you finish with your video, if it's so 200 megabytes is going to probably actually be a little bit, most videos are going to be a little bit more than 200 megabytes.
Yeah.
So it might say that it's 200 megabytes, but it really might not be. So it might be like 210 or something like that. So I'd always, like, if I'm building it in a program, sometimes you can tell the program what size you want the file to be. Like, for example, on a Mac, like I use Compressor, which is an Apple product. And then I can like tell it to spit out a certain version, or you can also use a tool such as Handbrake. So handbrake.fr. Yeah. And that's a fantastic tool for converting videos. So if you're like, you know what, it needs to be a maximum, I can set the maximum. I can set the rate and everything like that as well. So it determines the quality as well that I'm going to get, and then just process it. But that's typically how I go about getting my videos correct.
Yeah, the countdown, and then I added in one short video, which was under the 200 megabytes. But I couldn't figure out how I could get an outro in there. But you've explained it now.
Yeah, you just make one intro for an intro, one for an outro, and then what I like to do just to make it easier is I upload, like, for example, I might upload like a filler graphic, and then I upload the intro and then the outro. And the reason is so that the intro goes on the left, the outro goes on the right. And I then click the name, I click the video, and I can sorry, 1 second. What I do is I click the tag that's underneath the video, and it'll let me rename the video. So that way, if I want it to be an intro, I click that and it just says intro versus clicking the other one.
Yeah. And I guess you could use the same principle if you wanted a break in between. Like during a podcast, rather than continually have dialogue, you can have a break, and that's how you would do it, right?
Yeah. And then the other option is if your video is longer than 10 minutes and over 200 megabytes, you can use the share feature, and there's a share. So if you click on share and select video file, it's going to bring a video into your StreamYard dashboard.
Okay.
Let me actually see if I can, let me see if I have one. I might have one I can upload. Let's see.
Yeah, I'll figure that out for tomorrow, because we go live every Sunday evening at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time.
So here, let me do this. Let me show you this. I just uploaded a video. And so I mentioned under brands, video clips, you can, for example, let's say we want to rename this video. We just click on it and can rename it that way.
Yeah.
And then I do like intro, outro. You could have a mid-roll, for example. The other option is if you go to share and select video file. And then, for example, I have this video I just uploaded from my computer. And I can actually, if you see here, I can scrub through the player and start at certain times. I can adjust the sound, for example, and play it if I need to.
Well, that's cool.
Okay.
Yeah, very good. Thanks very much for that.
Awesome. Anytime. Very cool. Any other questions?
That'll do for now. Won't take up any more of your time. I'll come back to you another day.
Sounds good. Awesome. Thank you so much for joining us.
My pleasure. Thanks very much. Have
Very
a good
welcome.
day.
You too.
Bye for now.
Bye.
Thank you. Thank you for coming.
Okay, so let's take a couple of real quick questions, Leticia, and then I think we're going to wrap up.
Sherry has a question. She said, do you think
sure.
that the Yeti is a good one for podcast and video / singer, etc.?
I think the Yeti's an okay mic. I've used the Yeti before. We talk about it a lot, I think, right? Because we get a lot of people that ask about it. It has the ability to change the microphone patterns, but it also doesn't seem to really turn off the noise very, very well around you. So, for example, if you're using, first off, you got to understand the different patterns they have on the mic. There's some that are like designed so that when I speak into the mic, none of that sound is going outside of the mic and it's not picking up other sound, but it doesn't 100% turn off everything for some reason. So there's always a lot of feedback. And then when you start talking about, podcasting, video, and singing, for example, I'd always recommend having a couple of different mics for that kind of thing.
Oh, yes, that's a good point.
Mics are different. There's condenser mics, there's dynamic mics, and so you're gonna want something that's a little different. Again, it's not a plug for Guitar Center, but I'm gonna recommend Guitar Center because you could go there and they have pretty much all the mics on the floor. For example, you're not gonna like I wouldn't say for example, I wouldn't tell you to go buy the mic that I have. I'm using a Shure SM7B. I wouldn't just say, go buy this because it's the most, I don't know. I don't think it's the most expensive mic, but go buy this because it's, $400, for example. I wouldn't tell you to do that. I would recommend going and testing different mics because everybody's voice, their vocal patterns are going to be different. So the mics are going to, some of them will work really well for some people and some people use it and it won't work very well for them. So,
yeah, because it does depend on the room that you're going to be in. It just is so you got to think about your environment as well before you get a mic.
And then Adam's Exploits here is commenting, the Yeti gets mixed reviews. I love mine.
Yeah, I've seen that.
But it picks up a lot of ambient noise and it's not portable as well. And I actually will say I 100% agree with him on the fact that it's not portable. I had one for the longest time. I switched to a different mic because that particular mic I needed to be portable. And you ever try packing a Yeti in a piece of luggage? I mean, you add in like 5 pounds. It sounds like you're adding a lot of weight to your luggage just to
try to bring that through the flight. They're like, what is that?
So that's that. And then let me see if there's one other question here. Adam was also asking, well, 1 minute or 2 minute timer work for the video clip, and do you have one? So we have the StreamYard ones, actually. If you email me, marketing@streamyard.com, just put in the subject line, live stream reviews, and ask me if you can get the video clips. I'll send you a link to where we have those. You can put them into your StreamYard dashboard. 1 to 2 minutes should be just fine. Yeah. So super like useful. And I'd say start with that and then build upon that.
And Sherry said that she wants it to be portable. So do you suggest the Rode then for her?
I mean, I like the Rode, but the other thing you got to remember with these is, I mean, these are primarily for this is for talking. So I think it depends on what you're going to be doing.
Oh, I see. Okay.
If you're going to be talking, this is you clip it on. It's super portable, obviously. It has a mic built in. You can plug in a lavalier mic. The other option you could consider like an iRig as well, which would allow you it's an additional adapter you'd have to buy, but you plug that into a computer. It allows you to then feed in a certain kind of mic into that, or you could play music, for example, through that. It really comes down to what you're going to be doing. So maybe if you can do me a favor, if you can just elaborate on what you're doing and just tag me, that would actually be great. so we can offer some.
Yeah. And like, you know, Christian, you've always suggested to me, walk into the Guitar Center. The people who work in there, they're so knowledgeable. Some of them are doing music. Some of them. I was talking to one guy a couple of months back. He podcasts, or you know, they're actually using the equipment that they're selling in the store. So, I suggest that you do that as well.
Yeah.
Like Christian always says that.
They're going to have like all your they're going to have the Shure SM7B, the Shure MV7.
Right. They have everything there.
The little brother. I think they even have some of Blue makes other models besides the Yeti, for example. They're going to check that
that's
out.
Good to
know. Diamond Darren's recommended another person as well. Martin, if you do me a favor, by the way, if you send me an email, marketing@streamyard.com, I'll send you guys the countdown timers. So I would recommend chatting with some of those people. And the reason I recommend chatting with them is because they're going to have all the different mics and you're going to be able to test out the different ones right there in the store.
Right.
Versus it's not about, and I want to drive this home, which is it's not about buying the most expensive mic. You know, it's about getting the one that works best for you, for your situation, for your budget, for example, and also for like what your stream is going to be about. You know, we always recommend like start with what you've got. First thing you should always upgrade for your live streams, audio. We recommend like the Samson Q2U because hey, it's a $70 mic. It varies between 50 and 70. It's actually pretty portable. You know, it's got a little stand with it. So that's a good starter mic. And then that way you don't have to buy the interface, all the other stuff that some of the more expensive mics need. You can use it for USB or XLR and whatnot, and then move up from
You're
there.
so right about that, Christian. You're 100% right. Start out with what works for your setup, your layout. It has nothing to do with price and what's works for you. Whatever works for you is going to cost a little bit more, or whatever works for you is going to be inexpensive. Like, to be honest, I wish I got the Samsung Q2U, the one that you always suggest, versus this one, because ideally that mic will work better for the setup that I have. So that's always the name of the game of when it comes to that.
Yeah, and I want to just highlight this last comment here from
USB
Dustin.
mic from Walmart. It was supposed to.
Surprised by the quality.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And here's the thing. Make sure when you're doing mic recordings, by the way, you do a recording and then have someone else go and listen to it. I'm going to give you the AirPod example. When somebody puts in AirPods, they sound great to me, but then when you actually go listen to them, they don't sound the same. So
that's true.
You know, you do have to like have someone else give it a listen, you know, somebody who you trust, for example, and you're like, hey, you know what do you think about this? Be honest with me. And they could tell you like, hey, you know what, I hear air conditioning, or I hear this noise, or there's a like crackling or something going on. So, you know, and then that way you can make sure like you're getting the right equipment versus.
Is Sam Ash still around? Sam Ash.
That's a good question, actually. I'm
sorry, that's so off topic.
So Sam Ash,
I don't know, the one by me
is a
closed.
music store. It probably is actually online, actually. Yeah, I think it's online now. I think it's actually the same as Guitar Center as well. Yeah, it's the same kind of stuff.
They were a good company too.
It's go check them out. They sell Samson, for example. There's a Samson wireless mic system they sell for smartphones. So go check that out as well. And then one last comment here from
I was about to pull that up too.
I believe people need to think about sound treating their room before considering upgrading the mic. Yes. And sound treatment can come in many different forms. By the way, if there's enough familiar with sound treatment, it's basically where you're like, for example, when you're building a house, you put up the wood, for example, to build a structure, but then between the wood, they usually put insulation, things like that, right? And so sound treatment is essentially like a similar thing. Like, so for example, if like if you're in a room that's got really tall ceilings, the noise is going to go up and down. For example, if you're in a place that's got tile, for example, or there's a lot of things that noise can bounce off of, and it sounds very hollow, or it sounds very like you're far away, you need to treat the room. And there's different, and different things. Yeah. And, Diamond Darren saying, treatment, not proofing, completely different. Yeah. And so,
yeah.
You do need to
like we had some people on the show that were from like the islands and stuff, which is like their walls is concrete. So really, you know, what is it? That would be treatment or proofing? That would be proofing, right?
Treatment would be like putting up like absorption panels, like things like that on the wall. So putting up those absorption panels so that, for example, if you're speaking into a wall, the panels, like they're literally like foam panels you put up, and then as you speak, the sound is not hitting the wall and coming back. It's absorbing into that panel. So it's going to make your sound richer, better, things like that. You could also then do things like putting carpets down, blankets, towels, as Adam recommended here. NLTMW, I think, has said before, try it. You know, if you got a pile of laundry, I mean, again, same kind of stuff. You put that down, it's going to make it better. And then, yeah, as Darren said here, you know, treatment makes it sound better. Proofing locks out sound from the outside. Yeah. So for example, proofing would be, for example, before you put the drywall up, it's putting the material in the wall to keep all the sound from the wall out. Because instead, otherwise it would just literally pass right through. And then the treatment would be putting down carpet, for example, if you're in a noisy room or you're in a tiled room, putting in the sound panels, for example, on the wall, setting up something like that as well. So
he said team laundry on the floor.
We pay attention, by the way. We do pay attention to that. So awesome. This has been so much fun, by the way.
This was fun.
I gotta say, when's our next show, Leticia? I gotta look at this real quick.
Our next show is going to be next Saturday, 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. That's going to be June 5th. Wow, May is over. This month went by fast, crazy, right, Christian?
It did, right? Yeah. So that's June 5th, 12 o'clock, right? Yeah. Very cool.
June 5th.
So with that,
June 5th.
I want to thank everybody for joining us. This has been a lot of fun. I hope you guys have a great weekend. If you have any questions, again, don't hesitate to reach out to us. We're always here to help. And
yes.
Let's see. One last thing. Darren says you can
proof you can proof the room.
Then sounds echoey. Yep. And then it needs treatment. Yes. So proofing would be keep the sound out. Treatment is going to be to then absorb. So
if you proof the room, the sound can still echo. That's what he's saying?
Yeah. Like, well, let's just say this. If you think of it like a box. So you proof the room, meaning like in between the walls, for example, I put stuff into the walls that are going to like not allow the sound to pass through, right? However, once I'm in that room,
what if you don't want to do all that with the walls, like breaking the walls?
So then you want to put treatment. You'd want to put treatment up, i.e., I want to put sound panels up. I want to put carpet or a rug or towels or things like that.
Got it. Okay.
Around the room so that the sound is then not bouncing off. Think about it. It's a box. Let's think like this new room. It's a box. You would soundproof so that everything in the room doesn't go outside the room and outside doesn't come in. And then let's say that room happened to be tile. Then you might want to add treatment to minimize bouncing around, things like that.
So can I buy those pads and just put it on my wall?
Yes.
Okay, that's what I'm talking about.
Yep.
Okay.
That's all.
I thought you talking about I gotta get a hammer and break down the wall.
No. The right. No, I'm just thinking like, so for example, if somebody wanted to build a recording studio or a video
Got
studio,
it. Okay.
When they're building it, they would soundproof the item.
Got it. Okay.
Yeah. So awesome.
All right. I'm clear. Think of proofing as what you do for your kids' place to join. Oh, okay. Stop sound from going. Got it. Okay.
And Simpatina, by the way, yeah, it's definitely
Sherry's laughing at me.
Simpatina, yeah, we'll do this next week as well on the StreamYard YouTube channel. So yeah, so we'd love to have you join us.
Right. Awesome. That's awesome.
Okay, so with that, I want to thank everybody for tuning in. Thanks again for watching. Again, don't hesitate to join us. Like and subscribe to the YouTube channel, and we will see you all next Saturday, 12 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. Thanks a lot, everyone.
Bye, guys.
Bye.